kune nzira dzemasoja dzekuzvibata nadzo tererai mitemo yose zvakaoma manera akanaka. Good evening, the people of Zimbabwe. Good evening, everybody. Welcome. Let's meet. Welcome, 𝗓𝗓𝗃 Hussein Malunga 𝗔𝗹𝗹𝗲𝗀𝗃 𝗓𝗓𝗃 kurukure nyaya iri kusirisa zvikuru iri kudai kuitika munyika yeZimbabwe. Haasi kunyepa here Jukwa. I don't think he's lying, because I've tried as well to call Charlton Wende's phone. It's not going through. I tried to call 𝗔𝗹𝗹𝗲𝗀. It's not going through. I tried to call different people so that I can confirm that Charlton is actually been abducted. So I've tried, ladies and gentlemen. So if you fail to reach individuals with knowledge, then it means something bad is happening or has happened. We are back into the situation. Hi Kevi, how are you? We are back into the situation of where Zimbabweans are abducted for their political beliefs, of which I always tell people that no Zimbabwean must suffer because of a political belief. No Zimbabwean must be abducted because of a political belief. Politics, this barbaric type of politics that is practiced by ZANU-PF, is exactly what you had that Job Scholar confirmed on Twitter space. Yeah. So we are relying on people who are writing on Twitter. I've been trying to get through to Zimbabwe. I failed to get through to Zimbabwe. So we are a people. We have suffered a lot. Remember that these people, they send people with AK assault rifles, weapons that are used in a warfare, to go and intimidate the citizens of a country. Someone was asking who has been abducted. We have got news reaching the United Kingdom right now. The news, it's a lie, he is just confirmed now on his Twitter account. So let me go on his Twitter account and see. Where's my other phone? So let me go on Twitter account and see if Charlton Wende has actually confirmed that it's a lie. Because I've been trying to call him. I'm not getting through. It's not going through, Charlton Wende. I'm not going through. So I am going to try to call him again here, so that the people can hear me calling Charlton Wende. If he... Let me try ring him again. Charlton Wende. Let me try to ring Charlie again to see if I'm lucky to get hold of him and confirm. Let us hear from him to confirm that he has not been abducted. We want to confirm it. 777 2275. This is Charlton Wende's number. So I need to try and call him again so that if he is not abducted, then he can answer. Hans' old post Yajukwa. So let's try. We need to confirm. Let's try. Boss, I've been trying to call him to understand if he has actually been abducted or not. I haven't been lucky. I have been through. So let's try and see. Charlton Wendy. Let's try and see if our Secretary General is safe. What Zimbabweans want to confirm is that our Secretary General is safe. So let's try. I'm going to ring him direct. Check on Twitter. Yeah, Twitter, sometimes Twitter accounts, a lot of people are opening Twitter accounts in the name of Zimbabweans, different people. So what's best is try to ring the person direct. So let me ring him and find out. Pests. So you can tell this number is Charlton Wendy's number. It's Charlton Wendy's number. So I am going to ring him direct, using direct call, so that Zimbabweans can hear themselves if he has been right. Can you hear? It's calling. I'm calling Charlton Wendy.
Hello.
Secretary General. Mushe ndi Yuda Magadi. Hapana Secretary General. Tutu hana dzirungorova dzirumaoko tunzwa news of abduction and so forth. Saka ndatirega indi ring direct. Ndabotya kuringa ine WhatsApp yanga isingapinde. Saka ndarova direct. Undinzwa kuti muri safe here.
I know I'm safe, my brother.
Muri safe.
You know,
vada kuti sapa panic mode handiti. Thank you for confirming, boss. Hey, and I'm troubled that in the live on Facebook ndichitotudza vanhu kuti let's hold it timbonzwa. Saka ndatorega indi phone direct line ndinzwa kuti muri safe here. Ndo zvandinoda kunzwa chete.
Aiwa dzokera pa Facebook mosvibisa vanhu. It's fine. Mama itofamba constituents. Mangwana also is will be out and about inspect the border registration.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Rega enda ashwe vanhu vanga vakuchema ma phone calls ananji receive ma messages. Let me assure them now.
All right, cool.
Thank you, Secretary General. Thank you, Baba. Sorry, ndavakati. Saka, ladies and gentlemen, mazvinzwa mega. Ndarova direct pa number ya Secretary General. Direct call chikata ndakata. Ndarova direct call to the Secretary General. Manzwa has confirmed Vega could I want safe national farmer ma constituencies national say a message you circulate ne junta could varada kuona reaction ema Zimbabweans could how are you reacting chinhu chinonzi 𝗔𝗶𝗂𝗊 chiri kutambirwa sei nevanhu saka maona ndati regai ndirove direct number ya Secretary General than vana WhatsApp ava vana ndambotry yanga isingabadairwe ndikambozama namba yavachibaya yanga isingadayirwe saka ndabva ndarova direct vana vese Zimbabwe muchinzwa kuti ndataura naivo Secretary General pachavo vatotaura kuti is very safe. Imessage iri kutenderedzwa nejunta yavaroda kutraya kuthreatena kuda kutivhundutsira because isisi vamwe tinenge tatovhunduka nekuti vanhu vehondo tesikada kuti vasakanganiswa andimona handazorora nawo saka a lot of people vanga vachindifonera vaya people who were asking Shepherd, is it true that the Secretary General has been abducted? Now I think Manzwa Mega nai Secretary General ndataura navo ndarova direct call to Zimbabwe confirming if he is safe and our Secretary General is safe. Saka vanga vachirohwa nehana mtiba vachiti vahwende vatorwa vahwende zvazoita sei ngatichidzika mai I have confirmed. I have ring live on Facebook. Manzwa vachitaura vega. No. Okay, comrade. Musanyanyo ndichikira. Ndo vanhu vehondo. Vatinenge tichitarisira ivava kuti vasakanganiswe, vasaitwe sei. Andimona. Saka mazvinzwira mega vanhu vari kumatima enyika vanga vachitaura kuti Secretary General vatorwa vaita sei. Regai ndibva ndafonera moms vangu vanga vachichema kuti wakomana zvazvaita kudai toita sei. saka mazvinzwira mega Secretary General Charlton Wende is okay. Vanhu vanga vachichema, because we should not dismiss such information. Every time we hear such information, it's very important for us, especially Zimbabweans, those who are in CCC. It's very important to get this information, so we get the correct information to see if our Secretary General is safe. So I'm now smiling, ladies and gentlemen. When I started this live on Facebook, I wasn't smiling at all. I wasn't smiling at all. It was troubling. It was really troubling. So it's an old message being circulated by the junta to try and kutora temperature another audio which was circulating from Anonzanu Ďara. Ďara anongo apoindwa. He has never won any election in his life. Anonzanu Ďara chinonzani chimudhara chekudya 𝗵𝗵𝗿𝗀𝗂𝗀 kunotoni chache. Achiwin election, that man survives on appointment. He has never won an election. Chinonzani mochitani chekudya 𝗵𝗵𝗿𝗀𝗂𝗀 kunotoni. As my daughter has just informed me that there is a message circulating alleging that I've been abducted. This is false. I've been freely moving around constituencies. Yes, I've rung him direct. Saka rumor mongas aramband nai vedwe. It's not a rumor, but what they do, these people, is try to send such message which will send people to panic. And when people to panic, then we are in disarray. Because 26 March, we've got my by-elections. Charlton Wende is your member of parliament. It's just continue, let him continue to 2023. Is to try and show Mazimba and Matema Andada head. Not Matema Andada Muchangwa. Chimdara chinonzi Muchangwa chache. You are circulating this message, threatening Zimbabweans that we must adopt the 2008 style, where we will kill Zimbabweans, where we will abduct and kill people, where we will set up what we call torture camps and torture Zimbabweans. So the message has been circulating because this was a meeting which was held, an inside meeting which nobody thought this would leak. It's not Matema Andada. No. Matema Andada is now an ambassador in Mozambique. He has been relegated into an ambassador. He's in Mozambique. This is Chris Mchangwa, who was appointed by E.D. Mnangagwa recently. Nyasha, how are you, sweetheart? I can now afford a smile. I've spoken to the Secretary General. I've been calling and calling. I couldn't get through. Mapoto nazi pakaipa mapoto ari kurohwa uko zvanzi musavotere ZANU-PF. Don't vote ZANU-PF. Don't vote Douglas Monzora. ZANU-PF and you all understand how ZANU-PF has been treating Mary Mbayiwa. We all know that Chwenga paid $35,000 to marry Mary Chwenga. You understand? Today the court says she's not a vice president's wife. Nyasha bakure zuri say Max. Ate the Max do zuri famere. So you have heard it, ladies and gentlemen. Those who just came in late, it's very unfortunate that you missed the call that I had with the Secretary General of Citizens Coalition for Change, Secretary General Charlton Wende. He is safe. He has not been abducted. He spent the day visiting constituencies, seeing the campaigns, how it is going. And as mapoto mavaona weru nazwa poto zichirohwa nhasi poto dzanzo vakadzi vakuru kutakura mapoto kuenda nawo kurari kushuwa kusiya mumba musina poto dzodhura guys. Nazwa chinzi poto dzichirohwa pasi pegaro. Hanzi muri sene mhuri madzibaba atete Eliza makadi ndakasimba pogovera zviri kufamba kwagovera ndana baba kwatobarwa isu vana dedi pane chifoni chimwe chiri kuti bubhubu panapa Sorry guys, I think I have to put this phone on charger. Anyway, Lou, Zaita Maburi, that's in God. You know, I was saying to 𝗛𝗂𝗲𝗀𝗂𝗃 that this is time to leave politics. That is my advice to 𝗛𝗂𝗲𝗀𝗂𝗃, to say, look, you have played your part, you have done quite a lot. Every time 𝗛𝗂𝗲𝗀𝗂𝗃 speaks, my eyes are filled with tears, thinking how she fought and how she suddenly fell. She fell with a thud. Yuda pamberine basa. Tekla chigondo nkala zviri kufamba here mwenezi ndini zviri sei Shapiro. Ndakasimba vana veZimbabwe. Hanzi mukaubike doro shepherd. We don't have time for abductions. Thank you Mkoma Alexander. This is my brother Alexander Mdara Wendevu. Ndo wakomana vema abductions ka. Saka vana vakuti havasina time vema abductions zvakadzvanya naye. Hanzi natete posha dzvene, I think in 𝗓𝗏𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 Biggie ngavabate basa 2023 𝗶𝗶𝗂 karoi Biggie haurovi amukoma ka vatakakura tichingoona tichiti mukoma wedu naye andichangopinda muklasi emukoma Yuda mudariro Happy 𝗔𝗹𝗹𝗲𝗀. We were talking about the abduction, alleged abduction of our Secretary General Charlton Wende. You know, he is the man of the people. Better saga, if he was not abducted, so why is Anga asking a phone? I was calling with WhatsApp all along, and it wasn't going through. So, you know, it might be network, it might be something else in Zimbabwe. So what I thought now is, oh, I still have a little bit of credit that I can ring Africa. So I went direct to hit his phone direct, and he answered. Our Secretary General, no, he's fine. Who is this 𝗵𝗵𝗂𝗲𝗀𝗀? We don't know 𝗵𝗵𝗂𝗀𝗀. Nobody knows who 𝗵𝗵𝗂𝗀𝗀 is. Because at one time Zimbabwe government sent delegations to Facebook in America where Makadenge went try to unearth who 𝗵𝗵𝗂𝗀𝗀 is, because he was spilling all the secrets in ZANU-PF. And mukoma Yuda treatise maswera mola kajogodo zviri kufamba here mwana my very true mukoma Yuda kupe ngaagare pasi politics dzedumbu dzaramba. She has tried. I still remember when MDC split in 2005. People were trying to find a vibrant politician to try and lure the Matabeleland vote. And this is when Kupe's name came. She was a trade unionist, a very senior trade unionist. So she was like a correct replacement of Mdara Swan, Gibson Swan. But unfortunately, people did not realize that the position you are trying to give to Thokozani Kupe is a very high position which demands a lot of responsibility. And to her thinking, her reasoning capacity, it was far below the bar that was required for that position. Mukoma ndimhoreseo Happy mulabo ndakumhoresa mwana wamai since ndatanga kumhoresa ndakumhoresa Happy. Mukoma Lamek Masuku Yuda, I'm watching from Tata, Eastern Cape Town, South Africa. Bamnashe 𝗔𝗹𝗹𝗀𝗀 chikukwa gafa zviri kufamba. As you're looking very young and fresh tonight, bravo, thank you so much. 51 years, I am in my 51st year and I still look young. Thank you Ichera, thank you so much. Naposhi, as I think vana veZimbabwe tofanirwa kunovhota not kungoita zvongotaura ngatisapoti bato redu. Mukoma Shapiro, peace, nyika yaramba zviri kufamba. Amos Marwa, welcome to the program. So what I'm saying is, you guys who are just joining us, I have called, or I've phoned our Secretary General very safe. He has not been abducted. We know 𝗵𝗵𝗂𝗀𝗀𝗀, he was spilling a lot of information about ZANU-PF to the extent Nesbeth Shito mukoma Shepi ndakasimba mwana wamai 𝗔𝗹𝗹𝗀𝗀, to the extent that ZANU-PF had to send the Makedenges to America, Facebook, to try and unearth who this Jupa was. Jola say mwana wamai Jola oni anchataurisa muningi 𝗔𝗹𝗹𝗀𝗀 my young brother, how are you? 𝗵𝗵𝗿𝗀𝗂𝗃 gafa blah zviri kufamba msiyazi zviri kufamba. You mean it's confirmed that Wenda has been abducted? No. Wenda has not been abducted. It's not confirmed. Ndafona my move ndafona izvozvi ndirubva kufonera Secretary General vaCharlton Wende havana kuabductwa, varipo vaswera vachitotenderera maconstitution. Ndo zvavataura panapa, ndaswera vachitotenderera maconstitutions. Yuda I'm safe. Imessage iri kutenderedzwa nevarakashi naye varida kumeasure temperature yemaZimbabweans kuti pa-CCC apa temperature inombomira sei. Saka he is safe, very safe. He is safe. I've spoken to him. Vanga vari panapa vatanga kusvika panapa vanzwa ndichitaura naSecretary General. Very safe indeed. Tare Max, how are you? Under someone poshi usagumbuka naye chibodo last zviri kufamba sei mwana wamai. Saka ladies and gentlemen, our Secretary General has not been abducted. He is safe. He spent the whole day today visiting constituencies. And those who can still assist, like what I asked Mkoma Zenda. Mkoma wangu, mdara wangu endevuyo. Ndakamtaura kati Zenda, usachengeta ndevu mdara, chengeta brain. Naye, never. Muchape zviri kufamba ere ndakasimba Jova George zvakaoma Traimo Peperi Yellow Comrade Yuda murise ndakasimba yebo yellow ngapinda ake mukomana. We are happy now. Ngatifare avaripo Secretary General avana kutorwa. We know kana munhu achinge atorwa kuti zvinofamba sei. Tine hurumende isina kana tsitsi. Andi mwana akoma ichokwadi here kuti he has been abducted. No, Melo Moyo, he has not been abducted. I've just spoken to him just now. Simba kazviti Simba zviri sei. I've just spoken to Secretary General vakupinda. I've just spoken to him live on Facebook. You can replay this. You can hear me talking to the Secretary General. He is safe. He has not been abducted. Anzitaura neni mkoma Liberty Mugao zviri sei mwana wamai. Pane vanhu vakawanda who were calling, who were trying andine stress pana mwana stress musaita stress wakomana zvakuda kuro regai tone trudunure kutaura naye regai ndifonere moms regai pana moms vanga vachichema kuti naye Secretary General vaWende hanzi vaabductwa. Is it true? That is not true. Privy Masuku, that is not true. Avana kuabductwa. He is there. Saka ndataura navo. Ndambenge ndichivafonera pa WhatsApp yavo. WhatsApp yavo ngasikapindi muchoni Chris Clinch. Zviri sei mwana wamai Ivan Tabwa zviri kufamba here. Mkoma, you look great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Kuramba kusakara naye. Kuramba kusakara. Chitu kambopinda mumvura so unongogeza. Kuramba kusakara naye. Atsakare zvekumhanya. Thanks Mkoma Fide. Nanchi try kufonera moms. Moms was crying. She called me. Vachichema maita basa Mkoma Yuda. The world needs to be informed. Thank you Memo. Yebo yellow hanza yende yakadaro 2023 naye apo manyora kuti abducted Mkoma. Yes, this was the topic when I came here. I wanted to discuss about abduction, why Secretary General would be abducted. So to confirm that he has been abducted or not abducted, I had to ring him direct. It's very unfortunate I can't keep ringing direct, but I've rung him direct. I confirm Secretary General Vega. So it's a message that is being circulated by Varakashi ZANU-PF to try and measure the temperature of CCC. How you guys gonna react to these issues of abduction? Tell us about Baba Jukwa, please. I know nothing about Baba Jukwa Mkoma Ino. What I understand is the Zimbabwe government, it sent Vanamakedenge to America, Facebook, to try and break into the Baba Jukwa account and find out who is posting. Because everything that ZANU-PF was doing inside, tomorrow it will be on social media. People would know. Bangwa Tindo, how are you? Sawira. Osi ziri kufamba ere mwana wamai Peter Chiwondo ziri kudini. So they flew to America to try and and unearth who 𝗶𝗶𝗂𝗏 was. But unfortunately, they couldn't break through, because Facebook, when they started, it was a social media. Now it is a business to the founder of this social media. So it is now a business. So business is obliged to keep data revanhu safe, because they can't release it to ZANU-PF to say go and kill this person because he has been posting ZANU-PF things. So they don't do that. They can't do that. You understand? This is why you see my Western countries, my Data Protection Act, a lot that before the information is released to any government, they would want to understand why are they demanding that data? So a lot of things can happen. So, ladies and gentlemen, Atete Anna Mbayo, yes, Atete Anna, I know you. She was one of the people wangawari troubled why ZANU-PF would abduct our Secretary General. So I confirm that Secretary General has never been abducted. So it's a message that is trying to send a panic, or they are trying to measure the temperature of the 𝗔𝗶𝗂𝗏𝗏𝗃 brigade to see how they will react to such information. And we quickly pick such information and we go straight kuna Secretary General unobvunza kuti ndara muri kunzi matorwa zveshuwa here. Saka vati ivo handina kutorwa, it's just a fake message being circulated. Captain, you look 30 years old today. Thanks Jola. Kumboti vasikana vamboonaka kuti handisanda adhara nai. As Makedenge's flight to New York, it was an embarrassing flight to New York where he came empty-handed. No, vatotanga kutopenga ipapo. Good news from Masvingo. Zanu yauraya nyika. As was worried, now I'm going to bed. Good night, Shepherd. Thank you, Atete Melo. Have a good night. Good night. Sweet dreams, my dear. So those who were scared that our Secretary General might be under hammer now, everything is fine. The Secretary General is there. He has advised me here to say, inform the world, Shepherd, that I am safe. I was never abducted. So it's fake news being spread around by certain people. Hanzi na Margaret Mukombami, hanzi ndiri busy. Musaita busy wakomana uyaitinzwe kuti toita sei zvinhu zviri kuitika muZimbabwe hazvidi kuti tive busy naye. We need to inform each other kuti zviri kufamba sei. Ladies and gentlemen, our Secretary General Atete Patience Mavunga, Gerald Magedi, our Secretary General, the 𝗔𝗶𝗂𝗏𝗏𝗃 Brigade Secretary General, very safe indeed. So he has not been abducted as rumors have been circulating. And in the saka zvinhu zvinotitambudza zvikuru, ladies and gentlemen, when we come to these issues about these ZANU-PF people. We all know what ZANU-PF people is. ZANU-PF is capable of doing. Natasha Gadzambo, Sabu Nyamanjiwa, Mofela, Deft Mtwere, Magadi Mofu, Ziri kufamba here. Nyama yenyu inonakai. Especially mofuka isaka biltong kaya izo aononyatsona kuti takubodya nyama pano nai. Ngoma jeri zviri kufamba 𝗔𝗶𝗂𝗏𝗏𝗃, the Yellow Brigade all the way. So first and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, when you get such information about like abductions, first and foremost, you need to calm down. We need to calm down. News tabloids, when they pick such information, Hans Makwinji, Kwinji 15 from South Africa, Apana Singapore Mgomong, Kwinji 15, Ndara Makwinji Soma Piri, akazenda ndite mbonje apa, mona mbonje, ndimakwinji Soma, akazenda ndite mbonje iyi, ndimakwinji Soma Piri, Kwinji 15, blazaita ke bora ri izwi hedala. satakapesera tangojamba tichingohedha bhora nemusoro yevanhu tichigoisa mabhora mamwe aityisa so nenyaya yaQueen 16. Amai Mhofu says not true. Thanks Sanderson Makombe. Not true at all. He has not been abducted. So I've called him, or I've ndarova direct to the Secretary General. Isa address kuseri. Thanks Mchoni. Ndokandira my mind as soon as ndapedza naye. Saka you find kuti things, ladies and gentlemen, are working well. When we hear such type of information, well, let's not just dismiss that information. We need to take such information seriously. Carry out our investigation and find out if he hasn't been abducted, like what we did. We know that the Secretary General very safe indeed. It's good news. 𝗶𝗶𝐶's threat Kwarakashi. Yeah, a threat definitely Mchape. Because if you hear, there's an audio, an in-house meeting that was held by the Muchangwas, where they were threatening that in 2023, the only person that they are scared of is Nelson Chamisa. In that audio, they have confessed that they have sent 𝗛𝗂𝗶𝗃𝗀𝗃 to destroy the MDC from within, and they also sent Douglas Monzora to destroy the MDC. It's good that we were strategic. President Nelson Chamisa, this is why you see the gentleman always say God is in it, because President Nelson Chamisa had to throw a joker before the opposition is completely destroyed. So we all know that ZANU-PF is confessing that they sent Douglas Monzora to destroy MDC, that they sent 𝗛𝗂𝗃𝗀𝗃𝗀 to destroy MDC. But we had the people who were safeguarding the part, people who saw the destruction coming. And the President Nelson Chamisa was always praying, vari mumakomo vachinamata vachiratidzwa naMwari kuti opposition yatozodestroywa. What Monzora and the 𝗛𝗂𝗃𝗀𝗃𝗀 are up to is to prolong the rule of ZANU-PF. And they quickly strategized, and they threw in a joker which has put ZANU-PF in disarray. So they don't know what to do with the President Nelson Chamisa at this juncture. Thanks Marvin Chigume, inspiring Minister of Information 2023 𝗶𝗶𝐶. Thank you so much. So what we need to do, Zimbabweans, let's not just dismiss information. We hear Children Wenda has been abducted. Let's not dismiss it, because tomorrow they will abduct him. Then people will say, Wenda knows my truck, saka abduct aripo, whilst the person will be dying. You understand? So let's not dismiss such information. But what we need to do is, first and foremost, let's calm down, let's sit down, and let's and when we calm down, then what's in the information in front of you, does it matter? This is what you need to consider first. Does the information in front of you matters? And does it require a deep thought? Does it require an investigation? If so, pause, reason, think. This type of information, you don't just dismiss it. It needs a strategy. So you strategize, you sit, you pause, you think with information in front of you and say, does it matter? Because if you dismiss such information to say, this is rubbish, or this is what MDC people do, this is what 𝗶𝗶𝐶 people are doing, MDC have been doing it, then you dismiss such information. You dismiss information where a person will be killed. You understand? So we just, like what we did, when I got that information, I had to sit down and ask myself, does it matter? Can I talk to the world? Can I tell the people that the Secretary General is alleged to have been abducted? Does that matter? It needs deep thinking, the way I did. So I had to take a pause. I had to stop, to think, to reason, to strategize. This is why I said, okay, fine. I've tried to call the Secretary General on his WhatsApp. He couldn't pick. It wasn't going through. So what do I need to do? Is to try to hit the line, to hit his line direct, and try to speak to him and find out the truth, whether he is abducted or not. If not, don't worry too much, ladies and gentlemen. So at this juncture, don't worry too much. The Secretary General is very safe, very, very safe. So let's just get out of the way of this false information and let it go. You understand? Because right now what we need is to conserve our mental energy, because we have got an election coming. We have limited willpower at the moment. We have limited mental energy and limited attention. We cannot pay attention to useless things at this juncture, because we have got an election that is coming, which require maximum willpower, which require you and me to campaign. We need to move around. We need to talk to people. We need to make people see that all these ZANU-PF goons, they've been there for 43 years looting your country, and they still require 5 more years to what are they going to do? Mnangagwa will be 80 something years in 2023. President Nelson Chamisa will be 45 years old. So if you were to choose, who do you want to talk about the future of a country? An 80-year-old Madalas and a 45-year-old young leader. So obvious, you have to choose a young leader who will chant the future of your country. Because the future of your country is in the hands of Nelson Chamisa, not in the hands of Emmerson Mnangagwa. Hanzi ngoma wende ndawa satambe my elections appear. Thank you so much. Definitely it's an advice to Charlton Wende that, look, Baba Jukwa had to put this and say, I'm just warning Charlton Wende. So he doesn't need to be alone. He needs security because he's the Secretary General. He's the man who did wonders from Gweru Congress to this 𝗔𝗶𝗂 launch and so forth. So he is an asset to the people of Zimbabwe, a valuable asset that we should not let ZANU-PF tamper with. We should never let ZANU-PF tamper with our Charlton Wende. Is someone valuable to us, valuable to you, valuable to me. So what it means now, ladies and gentlemen, is we need shows how much you care about this struggle, but we will keep our eyes and ears open all the time. Thank you, Mukoma Gerald Moyo. Jeza zvirikufamba ere parisei paguta guru repasi rino nai. So what we need, if you are in doubt, you receive such type of information and someone is doubting that this is not true. So if you are in doubt, wait. Don't spread fake news. Wait. If you don't know where to get the information, wait. Isusu tinema direct contact skani madara. Tinobvunza kuti mudara muri right here. Because vanhu vasati vamboabductwa ndo vasinganyatsonzwisisa kuti kana pachinzi munhu abductwa zvorevei. Charlton Wende is a very great leader. Tafazwa, he is a great leader. He has shown, since he became Secretary General of the 𝗔𝗶𝗂, before we rebranded into 𝗔𝗶𝗂, he has shown great leadership. He is someone who was lacking all along. And when he came to power, when he was elected the Secretary General, he said, this party will never split again. Remember those words from Secretary General when he was elected Secretary General, before we rebranded into 𝗔𝗶𝗂. He said, this party will never split again. And he meant it. So those were words from a great leader. So what we need is to try to support him. Let's try to support him. White is not a lawyer. Azina basa ne law ne lawyer zyashi. Azina leadership ina basa ne lawyer baba. Nika know he had leaders before education was invented. This world had leaders, great leaders, before education was invented. And if you look at all the leaders who have been in this world in different countries, but they were leaders directing the leadership of a nation. And the one saka zakunza as lawyer as nabasa izozo mazanu, please wait a minute. Don't tell us kuti ningana kudzidza kana asina kudzidza ndewedu. Isusu tiri elect vanhu vatinoda. Saka maZANU-PF chibopamirai 𝗵𝗂𝗧𝗂𝗃 mutore anzi posida makadi you are looking more than handsome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much 𝗵𝗂𝗧𝗃. Kumboti vasikana vanyasombondoonawoka kuti andisanda chembera naye. Pamwe ndingangoona kuchemera anditi anoyemawo anombondiemerawo yoda anoona kazvikaika kanodiwawo kachimbokuemerawo naye. I'm joking. At least zviri sei zvinonyengerwa zviri kufamba here mwana wamai. So what I'm saying, guys, time itself, if we look at the false information that is circulating, and if you look at ZANU-PF today, they are just time wasting. The ZANU-PF is just buying time. Those people will never better anything in our country. They are just buying time. So you don't need to listen to ZANU-PF and Murugunzo, because time is going, and time, is a powerful filter. Time is a powerful filter. Guess what I mean by powerful filter? We have seen ZANU-PF for the past 43 years. And never, we need fresh blood, not old Madara. Those ZANU-PF destroyed our future. I do believe in Chamisa vision. This guy is the right person to rule our Zimbabwe into new Canaan, lead Zimbabwe into new Canaan. Thank you, 𝗵𝗂𝗧𝗃. This is why I'm saying time is a powerful filter. Because if you look at what ZANU-PF did for the past 43 years, we are looking at time that they have been at the helm. And they have filtered themselves, and they have proved to be goofs. They have proved to be useless. 43 years in power, they did not even develop our country. And the country now today, it has got no currency of its own. And we have normalized what is abnormal. People walking on top of sewages. People walking on top of rubbish in all towns in Zimbabwe. We are driving our Porsche cars in potholed roads. So this shows, this is why I'm saying time is a powerful filter. It has filtered ZANU-PF. You can tell that this is a useless part. That this part will never better anything in our country because of the time that they've been at the helm, all the resources of the country. They've controlled all the resources of the country. They have virtually controlled everything. You understand? From mining, from currency, Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe, everything. It has been at their exposure to build Zimbabwe, to build roads, to build motorways, to build anything to bring us good water, clean water to drink, hospitals. They never built that. Instead, the railways shut down, hospitals shut down, all roads are potholed, and instead they had to introduce Zmatruges trying to take money out of your pockets. You understand? So time filters, it's a powerful filter. Definitely. So this is why I am saying, ladies and gentlemen, time is a powerful filter. It has filtered ZANU-PF. You can tell now that, oh, this is just a goof. These are clueless people. They've been filtered by time. So what we need now, we don't need to continue with the goofs. We need real politicians to take charge of our country, to take stewardship of our country. We have got President Nelson Chamisa. Sekuroni zviri kufamba here Alfred Fekechu. So we have got President Nelson Chamisa awaiting to assume the leadership of our country and become the steward of Zimbabwe. So they've been filtered with the time. 𝗵𝗂𝗧𝗃, thank you so much. So ZANU-PF has been filtered with the time. Mark my words. ZANU-PF has been filtered with time. And they have shown that they are a bunch of morons, a bunch of useless people who have been filtered with time as goofs. They can't do anything better now. They've been there for 42 years, 43 years now, and they've done nothing for Zimbabwe. So they have been filtered by time. So this needs someone. If you are a Zimbabwean, you need to pause. You need to pause. You need to think. Ladies and gentlemen, you pause, You think, sit down, go into silence, don't talk, don't think, don't talk. Just sit down and meditate. Think about ZANU-PF, what it has done for you and your family for the past 40 years, 43 years. So you need to leave those difficult messages that are sent by people to say, oh, Varakash. You know, Varakash, what do they send? These are very disturbing messages. These are very difficult messages. Because once they get to you, you know the truth. That ZANU-PF has done nothing for Zimbabwe. But if you read what Varakash are sending, they are disturbing messages. Vote ZANU-PF for you to get a job. Those who are sending those messages are not employed. They are not employed. They are struggling. They are suffering. But they send you a message to say, if you need a job, vote ZANU-PF. They get elang soap. No, the elang soap, chisipo che green cheje ku South Africa, njokuwa chama ovorosi, nema biche kugesa ma grease. Icho chiri kupuwa ZANU-PF so that they can sell their vote to the devil. So this is what I'm saying, that those are difficult messages. Those are uncompromising messages. Send to the people of Zimbabwe. Send on social media. ZANU-PF going around the country telling Zimbabweans to say, vote for ZANU-PF so you get a job. You get rich. We have seen poor people in ZANU-PF. We have been poor since 1980. We have been in ZANU-PF since 1980. Who are still poor. Who are still being promised 43 years down the line that for you to get rich, vote ZANU-PF. So what I am saying, ladies and gentlemen, is for you guys to sit down. Think about those difficult messages that you are hearing, that you are reading. Is this true? If I vote ZANU-PF, am I going to be rich? If I vote ZANU-PF, am I going to get a job? For the past 43 years, someone has never been employed. Someone has been a ZANU-PF supporter, never been employed, never earned anything, does not even have a pay slip. Never. Some people, they don't even know what a salary is, what a wage is, and what are the differences. And those are the people who are coming to you to say, vote ZANU-PF. So you need to reason. You need to think. Think critically. Is this true, what these people are telling me? So sit down, meditate, think. Think critically of these disturbing messages coming into your phone. If someone is ringing you, think before you sell your soul to the devil. ZANU-PF has been there for 43 years, filtered with the time, proved to be useless, and they are goofs. The people who will never better your life. So you understand what I mean, ladies and gentlemen. ZANU-PF cannot suddenly create employment that they failed to create for 43 years. There is a video of 𝗔𝗹𝗹𝗲𝗴𝗲𝗀 going to a white man's farm, attacking that white man, that why are you dismissing this and that? There were jobs when ZANU-PF came to power, but now there are no jobs. There were industries in our country when ZANU-PF came to power, but now all those industries have been closed. And someone is trying to kunyenga mkanwa, kukutaurira kuti if you vote ZANU-PF, if you join ZANU-PF, you suddenly get a job. Whilst that person is not employed, can't afford to buy a shoe, can't afford to buy a pant, can't afford to buy a loaf of bread. He's telling you 43 years down the line that ZANU-PF, if you join ZANU-PF, you suddenly get a job. That will never work. As Namkoma Freeman, don't mean to distracted you, Mkoma. Congratulations, team Yatamba Bora. Thank you, Mkoma Freeman. As wagu so you see what I'm saying here, ladies and gentlemen, that ZANU-PF cannot suddenly create jobs for you, which they failed to create for 43 years. So let's be clearer here. Let's be clear, ladies and gentlemen. Let's decide what you want to do. This is why I'm saying, If you are in doubt of information that you receive, just wait, sit down, think critically. Is this true? Can I vote ZANU-PF? Can ZANU-PF, if I join ZANU-PF, can I have money? Can I be rich? This young man who is coming to preach about richness in ZANU-PF, he doesn't have shoes. He can hardly afford a loaf of bread a day. And he's telling you that join ZANU-PF, vote ZANU-PF. So you need to think, you need to reason. Most of the thugs used for this abduction, they don't even know how to operate ATM. They've never operated any ATM machines. Because what they get are $10 a week. And they get them cash from 𝗯𝗱𝗂𝗏𝗂𝗏𝗂𝗧𝗏. He doesn't even own, he doesn't even have a bank account. He doesn't even have a bank card where he can go at an ATM to withdraw even $1. You understand? And these are the people who are coming to tell you to vote ZANU-PF, join ZANU-PF. So it needs Zimbabweans to reason. So you sit down, you ponder your next move, you sit down, think critically. Do you need to vote ZANU-PF? Do you need to join ZANU-PF? Which is a no. To me, is a no. So, if you start to think in that manner, if you start to put no's in joining ZANU-PF, no in joining ZANU-PF, no in voting ZANU-PF, I am saying no in joining ZANU-PF, no in voting ZANU-PF. If you begin to see these no's, if you begin to reason and say no, you have known your limits. And don't fall into trap. Yuda chambe, zirukufamba. Hello mkoma yuda. Holiday, zirukufamba. Ruth William atete Ruth Magadi. So what I'm saying is, when you begin to see the wrongs of voting ZANU-PF, of joining ZANU-PF, then you have started knowing your limits. Every Zimbabwean has got limits. You have got limits. Don't pretend to know what you don't know. This is my advice to a lot of Zimbabweans. That you guys, most of you, pretend to know what you don't know. People in ZANU-PF Varakashi, they pretend to know what they don't know. The people like 𝗓𝗋𝗂𝗏𝗂𝗏𝗀 Java, who was born in 1988, pretends to know what he doesn't know. So if you pretend to know what you don't know, you are a very dangerous person to the people of Zimbabwe. If you listen to Passion Java, you can tell what I'm saying here. That the young man is so dangerous to the people of Zimbabwe. He pretends to know things that he doesn't know. This is why his mom died in opposition. His mom did not join ZANU-PF. His mom joined the opposition because she knew what she knew. She knew what this boy doesn't know. And if this boy come to you and say, join ZANU-PF for you to eat a cash, tell him that you don't know what we know. We have been with ZANU-PF since independence. We have seen ZANU-PF since independence. So we know what Passion Java do not know. He was born yesterday. He doesn't know what we know. So when we come to you and tell you what we know about ZANU-PF, then you guys must understand. Varakashi vamurikuona vana vadiki stereki. They pretend to know what we don't know. But we have been there since 1980, before they were born. Most of them were born in 1988. They were born in 2000. They were born in 1990. We were already there. We have seen Ian Smith. We have seen Mugabe's government. From the beginning to the end. We have seen Idi's leadership. From beginning now we are going to the end. So we are in a better position to tell Zimbabweans what ZANU-PF cannot do for you. And what ZANU-PF has failed to do for you. We tell you how Zimbabwe was like. We tell you how Harare was like. When we were calling Harare the sunshine seat, the smartest city in Africa in 1980. Which Passion Java do not know. He was not there. Kutikataura kuti angari muchiuno mababa vake, that will be a correct description of 𝗵𝗱𝗂𝗲𝗏 in 1980. Angari an ovary yakaisati yatombotanga kumachua. Urukunzwa 1980 Java angari just an ovary. When Zimbabwe, when Harare was the smartest city in the world. And Saka, I am in a better position to lecture about Harare, to lecture about Ian Smith, to lecture about Mugabe government, to lecture about Zimbabwe. So people better listen to 𝗔𝗵𝗵𝗂𝗏 than listen to 𝗵𝗱𝗂𝗲𝗏. This is why you see he comes to you and say, if you join ZANU-PF, unoita mari. Atina tine vanhu vokuti kana ndikafamba naPashon-Jawa ndinomuratidza nhasi. Kuti urikuona mudhara uyu. He has been a chairman weZANU-PF since 1980. Nanhasi haakwanisi kuzvitengera chingwa. Ndosaka uchiona iwe uchiti ukafamba unotengera vanhu vamakokokora. Kokokora yanga isingatengerwe munhu. Taipiwa mbasera muZimbabwe. Maswiti nemabhanzi. Mabhanzi aya munoona arikutengerwa vanhu naPashon-Jawa. Aiti akarara nhasi mangwana anga asingabvumirwe kutengeswa muZimbabwe. Chingwa chaiti chikarara chingwa chikadhilivharwa nhasi chaifanira kupera nhasi. Chikangorara chete mangwana chinotorwa bhekari parinouya richidhilivhara chimwe chingwa. Vanotora charara chete vonofidha hove. Takazviona. 𝗵𝗱𝗂𝗏 never saw that. Kuti hakuna chingwa chairara chaitengeswa muZimbabwe. So if you tell him, zvandiri kutaura panapa, to him it's a film. Today vanhu vari kudya chingwa choenda 3 days chiri mubhazi. Zvanga chisingadyiwe chingwa ichocho. Chaiti chikangouya nhasi chikarara mangwana chitengeswe. Waiti ukapinda mushopu chitenga chingwa ukachiona chisiri fresh wanga usingatori. Waitodzvanya chingwa waita chekudzvanya unzwa kuti chakabikwa riini. So vanhu vakazvarwa 1988, 1990, 2000, they don't understand this. They are not in a position to lecture you. They are not in a position to lecture us, to tell us that vote ZANU-PF. Tatisingadye chingwa chakarara muHarare isusu. MuZimbabwe tatisingadye chingwa chakarara. Chaiti chikarara chingwa chainotorwa chinofidwa hove. Mukaka waiti ukarara mukaka, zvonzi mukaka waiswa mufiriji zvezve, tasikazvizive izvo. Mukaka every morning waiti ukatenga mukaka, kuDairy Board waibhadhara mukaka wako wesvondo rese. The whole week, your pint of milk. Waitenga pint of milk yako the whole week. Dairy Board yangu, vakomana Dairy Board vaisiya padoo pako. Vanga vasina basa kuti uripo wanda upo. Chero wakabhadhara vaingotora mukaka wako vosiya padoo. Paunomuka kuseni unongovhura doo donza mukaka wako. Ndozvataita isusu. If we tell people that, people do not understand it. And these are youngsters, people who were born 1988, who want to lecture us about Zimbabwe. But this time, Tagawa did a joke. Pakaipa. You understand what I mean? So, the information, if you start knowing your limits in life, this is when you start thinking critically. This is when you start reasoning. Could definitely, zvitaurwa naShepherd-Yudah. To some, to one, munhu akazvarwa 1988 akarasa Java, kwaari rinenge riri firimu randiri kumutsa. Kuti mukaka muZimbabwe waibhadhara mukaka wako the whole week. Wabhadhara the whole week mukaka wako waisiwa padoo. You just open your door in the morning, wodonza mukaka wako wotobikira tea vana vechikoro votoenda. Andini muri kunzwa. Chingwa chaiti chikarara atete Koni Machona. I think you understand this. Chingwa chaiti chikarara mangwana chasingabvumirwe kutengeswa. Chaizorerwa kubhekari. Ndochaitorwa chinofidwa hove. Andini muri kunzwa. Saka this economy yeZimbabwe yanga yakanaka. Yanga yakanaka. So what I am saying here is, don't assume that someone or people who come to you, they know more, they know a lot about Zimbabwe. Don't assume that those people who were born in 2000, they know a lot about Zimbabwe. They have got no clue about what Zimbabwe was like. What they rely on is us telling them. Mkoma love, mava wauya mkoma wangu love momeza. We used to get this milk free. Java passion that there was a quarter milk. Quarter milk ayone chimsoro chapoto njere. Chetaiti poto njere, poti. Waitu ukaenda kuchikoro waipuwa quarter milk for free per break. If you tell him that, he doesn't know that. Mkoma Terence Mpawuri, evangelist, how are you? And I love you, brother. It's evangelist Mpawuri, Magadi Baba Mpawuri, Zirukufamba. So you know what I'm telling you. If you tell Passion Java that in Zimbabwe, I went to my quarter milk, to my chocolate, to my vanilla, to my kaka quarter milk, kaka quarter pint. Kawaibu kukandirwa pa break. Oto shina, oto pinda class. Tainwa ataiti madzetse. If you tell them this, they don't understand them. And surprisingly, that youngster will come to you. That youngster, that youngster will come to you and try to lecture to you. That look, if you join ZANU-PF, you get a job. During that time, people were not even bothered to join ZANU-PF. There were plenty of jobs. This is why you see the companies were recruiting from Mozambique. Companies were recruiting from Zambia. Companies were recruiting from Malawi. Because Zimbabweans couldn't afford to fill all the vacancies that were in the country. You understand? So these Jawas, these youngsters do not understand it. Ice cream was 5 cents. Everybody, why Munwesa ice cream? Munwesa ice cream. And everyone was affording ice cream in Zimbabwe. You understand? So if we tell these youngsters that please stop preaching to us, we have seen ZANU-PF from beginning. You have got no right to tell us. Don't even mislead our children. Don't even mislead our people. Don't mislead them. Because we have been with ZANU-PF for 4 decades before you were even born. You see. So, it's not only that, only Java, Baba Mpawuri. Imimi ndimi vanotaura na Mwari. Uzai Mwari kuti mwana uyu kawo. If possible, dai vambomuzorodza. Unoona atishuvire kufa kwemunhu, but teshiti Mwari dai vamuzorodza, because matadziro ari kuita panyika anozofa achisemwa nembwa. Because ukaona kana nyama apa imbwa yakafemba ikarega kunhonga, itoziva kuti nyama iyi iri kusemesa. Adimona. So, Honorable Wende, or our Secretary General, has not been abducted. He's there. I spoke to him this evening. As why we are Linos made in dairy boat. Taura mkuma frime. Saka, ukabvunza Linus made, ukabvunza Passion Java, he doesn't know it. Ukamubvunza lobels, paga kura, kwa kusina lobels, chingwa chine mazamu. Chachisisiko je. Vanga vakudya chingwa chinorara wafana. Ndosaka uchona mai vake vakafa vari mu opposition. Havana kufa vari mu ZANU-PF. But she has seen what I'm telling you. And the more. So, if you know your limits, then you are beginning to be someone. So what I've said here, first and foremost, if you get any information, just calm down. Calm down. Lots of love. Sisi, how are you? I like the way you talk. Thank you so much, Sisi Chirongwe. It's like trying to educate you youngsters, because you are being misled today by people who were born yesterday, who don't even know where this country came from, where Zimbabwe came from. I was born during the war. We suffered during the war. We never expected to suffer after the war. And we have suffered worse after the war than during the war. During the war, those who had crossed to fight, when they came back, they got our support. They got our support. Ukabvunza Java, what is kokompoko haazvizive, karipai haaizive. Kamubvunza Jazen supermarket yaimbwa naadmire taderera kuseni kwega 6:45 Jazen man haazvizive zvandiri kutaura izvi. And he is someone who is trying to preach to you to say join ZANU-PF, then you get a job. Join ZANU-PF, you get rich. We have got ZANU-PF people nanhasi varikugara dzimba dzinenge matsaka. They were never rich. Vaive machairman ezanu vachiuya every day mudzimba medu vachidaidzira marari misangano, vana mai vedu vachienda vachinorumwa nemosquito vachichinzi pamberi nezanu. Until today they got nothing. Those people in ZANU-PF, they've got nothing. Vamwe vacho nanhasi ukamutaurira nyaya yeZANU-PF vandanga achakutema nedemo. You understand? So youngsters, musanyeperwa. The country belongs to you. In 1980, ZANU-PF was telling us that we are the country. They were saying the country's future relies on these youngsters. We were young when we got independence, and we were all shot up to say, by the time I get so much, I become so old, I'll probably be one of the leaders in this country. Today, go there, campaign to be a leader. They will shoot you, they will abduct you, they will kill you. They don't want you to be a leader anymore. But they were telling us that the future of this country lies on these kids. And we are now very old. I'm 51 years old, not a kid anymore. But I can't go to my country because I will be killed. By now, we are supposed to be the leaders of Zimbabwe. But we can't. Someone is at 80. Mugabe died as life president at 96 years. Someone is already 80, still wants to be a president, wants 5 more years. He has been a minister since 1980. He's almost 80 years. His entire life was in the government as a minister. And he's still telling you that he needs 5 more years. What for? What do you want to achieve in 5 years that you never achieved in 40 years? So this is why I am saying to the people of Zimbabwe, my Nunu, that please wake up. Wake up. Let's remove this slumber. Let's wake up. Let's wake up. And Zimbabwe kana wachida change. I came from Zimbabwe. I was not born in the United Kingdom. It's 𝗔𝗹𝗹𝗲𝗀𝗀 Scorpion. I came from Zimbabwe. I was born in Zimbabwe. I grew up in Zimbabwe. I've lived in this country less than I've lived in my country. So I've been preaching this change ever since in my country. This is why I'm still preaching about it. That we have got people who have been there as ministers for 40 years, 43 years. They've done nothing for the country. And they are campaigning today that they need 5 more years. I don't know what they expect to achieve in 5 years. They've been there for 43 years. They've been in charge of our natural resources. They've been in charge of our reserve bank. And today Zimbabwe does not have currency of its own. We don't have money. We call this is Zimbabwe money. You come to the UK, you see a pound, which has been there since time immemorial. You go to Zimbabwe, you don't see Zimbabwe dollar. And some people have been at the helm for 43 years until the country lost its currency. Until our towns are now rubbish bins. If you walk in Harare, it's a rubbish bin. One of the smartest cities in 1980 when Smith left. You understand? So if someone is telling you, if you want change, come to Zimbabwe. I came from Zimbabwe. I was not born here. I never grew up here. I was born in Zimbabwe, bred in Zimbabwe, worked in Zimbabwe, worked for Zimbabwe government for that matter. So what I'm urging Zimbabweans is to wake up. This is why I am saying first and foremost, calm down. This is why I am saying here that we need to conserve mental energy. This is why I am saying that if you are in doubt of any information that you get, just wait for a moment. Those people who can quickly access information will come and feed you. And we tell you the truth. So what I'm saying at 𝗓𝗋𝗂𝗂𝗀𝗀𝗂 is Zimbabweans now must know their limits. Because we have got people in leadership, people who are running Zimbabwe, people who are clueless, people who do not know what tomorrow must look like. If these people in ZANU-PF 1980 wanted to know what Zimbabwe will look like in 10 years' time, they were supposed to have built our country. But they never built our country. So this is why I said time is a powerful filter, which has filtered ZANU-PF. And it's our time now to think. Now they are proud. in town. Mgomalavu. It's so embarrassing. I saw them drilling a borehole at the Harare townhouse. Shapiro, please, when you close this presentation, please sing Hallelujah. And sing Hallelujah. Genga, please. As what about MDC did to our people? The problem with you, Chilenyika, it's like, let me tell Zimbabweans that how the situation is set up in Zimbabwe. A town like Harare, town council, or Harare municipality is run by the president of a country. Whoever becomes a president is in charge of town council or municipalities. This is why there is a video 𝗔𝗵𝗿𝗀𝗃𝗀𝗃 was saying zvichemo zvema-councillors MDC hakuna kwazvinoenda zvinoperera ku-harvest house. It's because he is in charge of a municipality. Why the president is deemed in charge? He appoints the metropolitan minister. He appoints the minister of local government. These two ministers are in charge of the council. So there is a council is not a government. A council is under a government. So anything that the council does is approved by the government. So you cannot expect the municipality of Harare to run as a government on its own. It cannot. It has got to be run under the leadership of Mnangagwa. It has got to be run under the leadership of the Minister of Local Government. It has got to be run under the Metropolitan Minister. So we have got the President in charge of municipality, the Minister of Metropolitan in charge of municipality, the Minister of Local Government in charge of municipality. This is why you see the local government minister has got powers to fire the mayor of Harare. So by interfering with how Harare municipalities run, it shows who is in charge of municipality. So if you hear, this is why I was saying that, look, the information that you receive from ZANU-PF people, this type of information is so disturbing because they lack knowledge. ZANU-PF Varakash, they lack knowledge. They don't have knowledge. What I'm telling you is the setup of Harare municipality. That the person in charge of all municipalities or all town councils in Zimbabwe is the president. From this president, we have got the local government minister who can hire and fire the mayor of Harare. If you look at all the letters which were used to fire Jacob Mafume, they were signed by 𝗔𝗹𝗋𝗃𝗀𝗃𝗀, who is the Minister of Local Government and who is a member of ZANU-PF. So there is a metropolitan minister as well, who is in charge of the municipality. So ZANU-PF is in charge of the municipality. So the debt you see in Harare has been created by ZANU-PF. All the rubbish you see in Harare has been created by Emmerson Mnangagwa. He is the president of Zimbabwe. He is the man in charge of municipalities. He is the man who appoint people who run municipalities. The metropolitan minister, the local government minister, has got powers to fire the mayor to teach them. This is why I go live on F1. So, I don't know what's happening. Someone tampering with my internet. It's very unfortunate. You can tamper with it, but it will still come back. So, 𝗓𝗏𝗃, they need to be educated. They need to be taught. Guys, takaverenga vana geography. Ukanoverenga economic geography, it's clear on what I'm telling you here. Vanhu vakaita economic geography kuchikoro, it's clear who is in charge of towns, who is in charge of city of Harare. It's clear. Takaverenga economic geography chegreen chache. Tiri kuchikoro secondary. If you read, you get informed. So my advice to 𝗔𝗹𝗹𝗲𝗀 Scorpion is, my friend, try to educate yourself. Not to go to school, but read widely and understand. There is a video circulating of Mnangagwa saying we are everything. We are the police. We are the council. We are the judges. He was not lying. ZANU-PF is everything. So you cannot expect a municipality to run as a government. You cannot expect that under ZANU-PF government. Because at all costs they try to strangle you. So this is why I always say, hats off to the people of Zimbabwe. Because the people of Zimbabwe have defied ZANU-PF at all costs. They have seen the corruption that the Tavengwas were involved in, Solomon Tavengwa and Kamban. So this is why they vote opposition in all towns to keep check and balance of these idiots who steal. They've got no remorse at all. They are thieves. And they've got no shame. So sometimes, 𝗓𝗏𝗃, they don't understand this. They lack knowledge. They lack information. They need to be taught. This is why God sent people like Shepherd Judah to go live on Facebook, teach 𝗓𝗏𝗃 like this. They have to know. And I hope my friend now is a bit informed here. This is the purpose of this presentation, to try to teach them. I hope our 𝗓𝗏𝗃 here is better informed now and understand who runs the city of Harare. It's the president of Zimbabwe, the minister of metropolitan, and the minister of a local government. This is why you see the likes of 𝗓𝗏𝗃𝗂𝗃, they were always firing mayors. Because if they had no powers, they were not going to fire a mayor. They were not going to interfere with the running of cities. Since MDC mayors started running city of Harare, the government has been interfering to try and stop them, to try and stop or disrupt service delivery. Mudzuri became the first mayor from the opposition. And what happened to Mudzuri? He was fired by the minister. We go to 𝗓𝗏𝗃𝗂𝗃𝗏𝗀, who was the mayor from the opposition. And what happened to 𝗓𝗏𝗃𝗂𝗃𝗏𝗀? They had to force her to join ZANU-PF and take the mayorship to ZANU. And they never improved the service delivery, despite that they grabbed an opposition mayor to be their mayor. We saw 𝗓𝗏𝗃𝗂𝗃𝗏𝗀 chanting ZANU-PF slogans at rallies as a mayor of Harare. Did the service delivery improve? No. Why? Because the government is rotten. The government is the one in charge of our city councils, charge of our cities. You understand? So I hope my friend has been answered here. This is the good part of knowledge, the power of knowledge. You understand? So once we have put that in time in place, I urge my friend to say, look, put more effort. Try to read something. It's tempting to comment on things that you don't understand. It's tempting to comment or to stick on matters you have got no knowledge about. That's the problem with 𝗓𝗏𝗃. They try to justify certain things that they don't understand. When we come to clarify these issues, they are left with eggs on their face. So 𝗓𝗏𝗃, I am saying, don't, please. Don't disrupt us. Don't bring your theories which are not true. Because we tell you what is true. At the end, you get so embarrassed. My intention here is not to embarrass you, but is to try and teach you and other Zimbabweans understand where we are coming from and where we are getting to. Because ZANU-PF is the one that appoints a minister, and that minister is in charge of the our metropolitan cities. Very simple, Atete Julie. Ziri say tapio chawari mara ziri kufamba here. So I might be brutal on my explanations, but to be honest with you, Zimbabweans, we are shackled to a useless system. We have shackled ourselves to a useless system. A system that we can get rid of if we want today, not tomorrow. Vana vari muZimbabwe nhasi vangumuka mangwana vese vakazara mustreet kuti ngachiche ZANU-PF yatorova pasi. So this is why I am saying we have shackled ourselves. Nobody shackled us to ZANU-PF, but we have shackled ourselves to them, to the extent that we just watch helplessly whilst they toss around, whilst they toss our lives around. Useless people. We have been rendered useless. You understand? So, a system that never brought results since 1980 up to now, ZANU-PF has never brought results. So when we are judging ZANU-PF, let's look at what results they brought to our country. Because judging them by what results they brought, to them is a very dangerous situation. They don't like that. They don't like Zimbabweans to judge them. They don't like that. Because when we judge ZANU-PF, as they have been filtered with time, we judge on the results that we see. The death in Harare, no drinking water, no currency for our country, no schools, hospitals have been shut down, trains, there are no trains anymore in our country, roads are all potholed, the whole country. So these are results of failure, 43 years of failure. So when we judge ZANU-PF, they've been filtered with the time, they've been there for too long. And we judge them with the results that we see. To them, it's a very dangerous situation. This is why you see they end up abducting people. This is a brutal truth, ladies and gentlemen. A truth that can never be substituted by anything. You understand? ZANU-PF has implemented stupid strategies ever since they got into power. They have been fighting the opposition, fighting Joshua Nkomo, fighting 𝗓𝗏𝗃𝗀𝗃, fighting 𝗓𝗏𝗃𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 mapurisa. When they are fighting the opposition in a country, they put all their resources into fighting the opposition. At the end, they are left with no resources to build Zimbabwe. If you look at the Matabeleland issue, ZANU-PF had to fight the people in Matabeleland with all their state resources, starting from soldiers, fuel, money, food, everything. Then when they managed to subdue Joshua Nkomo and force him to say, if you don't sign this in 1987, we will wipe all the Ndebele people. So you see, the history of Zimbabwe is focused on ZANU-PF fighting the opposition. Not contesting with the opposition, but fighting the opposition. Every time we go into an election, these issues of abductions, violence, they set up bases where people are butchered, people are killed. This is what I call fighting. But an opposition is not an enemy. Instead of ZANU-PF to utilize what opposition is saying and build Zimbabwe to shame the opposition, they do the opposite. And ukavati imbwa dzevanhu vanhu vezanu vanobva vaitana imbwa chaidzo chaidzo, vanobva vatodya nemadhodhi kuita imbwa chaidzo chaidzo. Andimona, if they were clever people, they would listen to what the opposition is saying, implement that, so that the opposition inozoshaya chekutaura. Kana tichiti muZimbabwe hamuna road, vakaima motorway acho road, toona kuti opposition ichataura kuti hamuna road here. Kana muchiti hamuna mvura yakachena, tengai mishonga, gadzirai madhemu, ipai vanhu mvura treated, toona kuti opposition ichataura here zvekuti muHarare hamuna mvura yakachena. Kana mune marara, takurai marara ese muise kumadhodhobhini, tonzwa kuti opposition ichataura kuti chii. Kana tichiti zvipatara zvakavharwa, hakuna manesi, hakuna zviremba, hakuna mishonga, provide that, so that opposition inobva yanyarara yoshaya chekutaura about hospitals. If you come to the United Kingdom, ladies and gentlemen, the opposition in this country, they don't talk of hospitals. Every town you go, there is a big hospital like Parirenyatwa, where you find all the operations done. Everything, nurses, doctors are planned there. And you want. So opposition emunomu, ukanzwa vachitaura nyaya yehealth system yafa, havasi kutaura kuti hakuna manesi, hakuna madoctors, but vakutaura kuti mari ishoma iri kuiswa ikoko, hurumende ngaise mari yakawanda. Saka sisi mungati votera chasa more money. That's what they say in this country. But in Zimbabwe, they've closed the hospitals, they've closed wards, they've closed the schools. All the roads are potholed. There is no clean water to drink. And ZANU-PF has got resources. They tell you want to raise 100 million for an election. They never told you that they want to raise 100 million yekutenga motikari dzekutakura marara mumatown. And when they say 100 million US dollars for elections, vanenge vachirauda vanenge vachipa ma-youth militias to go and beat up people, vachiuraya vanhu, vachiseta mabhases, vachitenga chikafu, vanhu vachidya imomo. After election yapera, muZimbabwe mosara zvituna nezvirema. So we have got a ruling party that has failed for too long. This is why I'm saying these type of strategies are very stupid strategies, which cannot end well. After the election, you try to see what ZANU-PF would have achieved. Dead bodies, lame people, deaf people, blind people, zvirema pese pese. So you find that their strategies don't always work. Their strategies that they do are bad strategies, which has destroyed Zimbabwe. And you will see the outcome after the election. This is when we say the ZANU-PF has always initiated bad strategies since 1980. And they have repeated this time and again. The international community always cry about human rights abuses, but they don't care. When the international community cry, they repeat. They've repeated their atrocities, killings, beatings, incarceration without trial of opposition people. And they've repeated this time and again for quite a long time. Because nobody takes care in ZANU-PF. Nobody is concerned about the welfare of Zimbabweans. This is why you see they go butcher Zimbabweans, because they are under sanctions. They tell you we are under sanctions from America. They don't go to fight America in America. They go in rural areas, kill people because they are under sanctions. They go in towns, abduct people, beat up people, shoot civilians in the CBD because they say we are under sanctions from America. So you wonder if those innocent people on the streets who are being gunned down by ZANU-PF has to do with the sanctions. People suffer. Because ZANU-PF will tell you we are under sanctions. They build military bases, deploy soldiers, deploy youth militias, abduct people during the night, beat up and kill people. Every time we go towards election. If you ask them why are you behaving so badly, they tell you because we are under sanctions from America. I don't know whether they are trying to provoke America to send soldiers to protect civilians, which I condone. If Americans were, or if Americans had human mind, they would probably send soldiers to try and help innocent civilians in Zimbabwe who are being butchered by Zimbabwe government to say, because we are under sanctions from America, so let's go to rural areas and butcher people. This is the type of government that we have, which has used all these bad strategies, probably to try and provoke Americans. Because those people who were shot on the 1st of August, who were shot and killed by the soldiers in Zimbabwe, on the 1st of August 2018, they have totally nothing to do with sanctions. Those people who were butchered, shot and killed on the 14th of January 2019, they've got nothing to do with the sanctions. These are ordinary Zimbabweans, vendors who were selling tomatoes, vendors who were selling Bambairam Road, were shot and killed by soldiers. A woman who was closing her office door was shot from behind. If you ask ZANU-PF why they act so in that barbaric way, they tell you because we are under sanctions from America. So you ask them, why did you kill this woman? Does this woman have to do with anything to do with the sanctions? No. The Americans are there. They've got an embassy in America. At one time, I said, oh, ZANU-PF is now talking. When they said they were going to invade the American embassy. But they are scared to the bone. They can't even go to American embassy. They're scared to the bone. Instead, they resort to avenge their anger to innocent civilians, unarmed people for that matter, and shoot and kill them. You ask them why. They tell you because we are under sanctions from America. So killing those people would bring or would remove sanctions. So this is something that Zimbabweans must think critically. When we are going into an election, these are things that we need to consider a lot. That continuing to vote ZANU-PF is continuing to accept those abuses. We will be shot and killed. We will be killed. Because they claim that they are under sanctions from America. So the best thing is to kill those innocent people in the rural areas. Is to shoot and kill those vendors in Harare who are selling bananas, who are selling tomatoes in the CBD. Shoot and kill them. Because we are under sanctions from America. This is a shame. So what I urge Zimbabweans is the right thing to do is to vote ZANU-PF out of power. And let this be a duty to every Zimbabwean. If you were supporting ZANU-PF before, this is time for you to think critically. The right thing to do is to vote ZANU-PF out of power. If you want jobs, vote ZANU-PF out of power. If you want peace, you want good life in our country, vote ZANU-PF out of power. If you want to stop this wanton killing of civilians in our country, vote ZANU-PF out of power. And once they are voted out of power, if they try any funny tricks, then they will see that who is going to deal with them. Mark my words. People are fed up. International community is fed up with the ZANU-PF. is fed up with 𝗓𝗵𝗿𝗃. Mom is calling. Mom. Alright, aiwa ndachida kukutaurirai kuti ndazotaura naSecretary General vaHwende vari safe, havana kuabduct. Vanhu vezanu varakasha, ndofunga vada kufila temperature yedu kuti tinzwe kuti toreacta zvakaita sei. Pandataura navo ndavafonera direct vakati aiwa Yuda handina kuabductwa, ndiripo ini manyepo. Aiwa aiwa chirarai hope dzakanaka mama. Varipo Secretary General vedu vapenyu havana kumbotoro. I know. Aiwa mwari wanzwa munamato yenyu, saka ndafona direct ndikataura navo vakati aiwa handina kuabductwa, ndiripo manyepo. Zani irikuda kunzwa temperature yema-𝗶𝐶 kuti zombofamba sei. Aditi. Alright mama, chireka ndipese live yangu aiwa ndotenda mama, ndatenda. Alright, good night. Aiwa 𝗓𝗵𝗿𝗃 yakuziva kuti yakuenda, saka kuenda kwayakuita inoda kuenda nenyonga. Asi zvenyonga aiwa isusu hatidi, takazviramba kare. Handiti manzwa. Alright mama. Aiwa ndosaka ndafona nondaiziva kuti ndosaka ndafona nondaiziva kuti nhasi upadzi uye muchikofunga kuti mwana pamwe ari kuchekwa. Ndochokwadi. Alright mama, alright, good night. Chireka indipese live yangu tozotaura. Good night. Ndandiri live mama, saka ndandichiri kufonerai kuti muzive kuti haiwa vari right Secretary General vedu. Chiendai palive mutipedzese mazviita mama. Alright mom. Sorry guys. Ndo vana mai vakati zvarava pavanzwa kuti Secretary General Charlton Wende vaabductwa vanga vachichema, saka ndo vazoita kuti ndirambe ndichingotsvaga Secretary General kuti vari papi kusvika vazodaira. Saka I have to give a feedback kuti mama, mwana wenyu haana kuabductwa, mupenyu aripo. Handiti maona. Anzi wakadii mwana since tikusiya usati waita live here. Ndiri live regai ndiudze moms, ndiri live izvozvi, you see, people rely on us for information, saka we need to get correct information kuti vanhu vaite sei vazive chokwadi. Anzi vakurwadza. Safe and Sound Citizens Coalition for Change Secretary General Charlton Wende denies reports he was abducted. It's not true. I am safe. Wende told Zim Live moments ago he was in Glenora earlier today encouraging people to register to vote. Zvakurwadza. Saka zvasheka vanhu vazhinji vanga vave so disturbed. Saka dedicate in real life izvozvi. Sorry guys. This is 𝗔𝗵𝗿𝗃𝗀𝗃
has been abducted. We know it is the counterintelligence of ZANU-PF that is trying to preempt court case yana Johanna. The SG has not been abducted. I'm here with him. He is safe and fine, and he has been roaming around the whole of Harare, making sure that people are registering to vote. Thank you, comrades.
Mawaona Secretary General vanga wana Juma nasaka Juma adonsendra message atonsendra video yoyi paanzwa kuti ndachitry kuda kufona Secretary General chitadza kuvabata. So that's the matter, ladies and gentlemen, I was talking about. So this is the video sent to me by Juma to confirm that our Secretary General is there, is safe. Ndavafonera ndikataura nawo pa live mazvinzwa is there, is safe, very safe indeed. So so I was talking about judging, talking about my strategies, stupid strategies that were implemented by ZANU-PF ever since until today. Zimbabweans are suffering because of ZANU-PF. So most things revert to the mean. What do I mean? An exceptional result is likely to be followed by a less exceptional one. We need an exceptional result. We need results, whether good or bad. People has to decide. Ladies and gentlemen, let Zimbabweans decide. We need results, positive results. This is what I don't expect bad results, especially by March 2016. We are going into an election which is marred by violence. Already you have seen what ZANU-PF was doing in 𝗪𝗪𝗂. So what I urge Zimbabweans, don't be fooled by this ZANU-PF varakash. What they simply want is to try to divert your attention, to try and do this and that, just like what they did to the economy. Our economy in Zimbabwe crashed. We all know that our economy crashed. Things tend to recover over time, but our things in Zimbabwe has never recovered. For 41 years, the economy was crashing, and now the economy has crashed completely. I was reading a letter about 𝗔𝗹𝗹𝗲𝗴𝗲𝗀 trying to bring back a Zim dollar. Remember, 𝗔𝗹𝗹𝗲𝗀 is the finance minister who said when ED got in power, and when he was appointed finance minister, he said, judge me in 6 months. It's almost 6 years now. So we are trying to judge the results that he has done or he has brought. He tried to bring back $50 and said this is Mbuyana and equivalent to $50, and it didn't work. Said $1 is equivalent to one bond. It didn't work. So if we're trying to judge him, he has tried to fool Zimbabweans. The likes of Eric Knight, they to jump in the bandwagon, try to tell Zimbabweans that the economy will bounce back, and Mnangagwa himself said the economy will resurrect like Jesus. So they were admitting failure because Mnangagwa has been a minister since 1980, and when he talks about resurrecting the economy, you will begin to wonder why still Zimbabweans vote for such daft people. Someone who is telling you that I destroyed this country and I hope that it will resurrect in my hands, which will never happen. That will be a miracle. So what I'm saying is Zimbabweans must never be fooled by ZANU-PF. There is nothing that ZANU-PF can ever do. Look at how the economy crashed. Look at how things tend to do. Things we thought probably with the time our economy will recover or things fall back to where they were before. But hey, someone out there should not get credit of whatever was likely to happen. You know, if you look at Zimbabwe today, Mnangagwa akawaka footbridge, he goes to officially open it. A mortuary, officially open it. A bus station, officially open it. You see, these are not projects that can bring prosperity to the economy. A mortuary could have official opening. A mortuary owns 10,000. Atanga kufaka pinda 10,000. You understand? So these are things that people should not be applauding. The government, we elect government. Let me repeat what I said, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, that a government is elected by people. Government is a board of representatives which is set up from elected people to run or to be stewards of our country. We elect a government is put in place to be steward of a country. What we do is we contribute to the government, and the government in turn provide us services. They take charge of all our mineral resources or the governorship of a country, so that they provide services to the people of Zimbabwe. This is why the government is there for. So in the event that a government builds a mortuary, in the event that the government builds a footbridge, in the event that the government builds or retar roads, the government should not get credit for doing that, because we elected them to do that. Instead, they are not doing at a scale that we expect, because we are contributing to the tax so that all those services are provided to the people. So we should not applaud, or we should not give them credit for things that were likely to happen, or things that were supposed to have been done. You understand? So what the scale that they are operating at, the rate that they are doing that, it's not sufficient, because we are contributing a lot of money. They have toll gates everywhere collecting US dollars. By now, in 5 years' time, in 5 years, which Mnangagwa was in power, the amount of money he collected from the toll gates is enough to see Mutare Road being a motorway. That money is enough to see Lomagund Road being a motorway. In 5 years, he should have built Mutare Road, Lomagund Road and Bulawayo Road into motorways. But nothing has been done. Where is the money going? And more. So, if you talk to them, what they seek is just a refutation. They don't confirm to us that they've done this. They don't. They don't come to you and tell you that we have done this. This is why we have got a government in waiting in 𝗔𝗵𝗶𝗂. A government that has got endless ideas. If you look at Emerson, if you look at President Nelson Chamisa, the gentleman has got a silo of ideas, endless ideas. Listen to Chamisa talking. Whatever he says is feasible, things that can be done. If you talk about a bullet train, we can have a bullet train in our country. If we talk of an airport in Murewa, and the ZANU-PF, they were laughing when Chamisa was saying that. Until I came live on Facebook, pointed to ZANU-PF that, do you know that in Murewa there is an airport? ZANU-PF people do not know that. Varakashi don't know that. In every town in Zimbabwe, there is an airport. You go to Chinhoyi today, there is an airport in Chinhoyi. You go to Kadoma, there is an airport. You go to Karoi, there is an airport. Go to Kariba, there is an airport. But because when we say airport, they expect Harare International Airport to be there. You understand? But Varakashi don't know that. If you go kumusha kwedu kwa Kurungwe ukanda unonzi Kafundo, there is an airport. So when President Nelson Chamisa was talking about airports, Varakashi do not understand this. Those airports needs to be developed only. They are there. And power, knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. If you go to Gweru, there is an airport in Gweru. If you go to Kadoma, there is an airport in Kadoma. If you go to Mashingo, there is an airport. muharare hamuna one international airport. Mune imwe airport iriko Mount Upton, kune airport kondomhara ndege. Kuenda kumanyame kune airport inomhara ndege. Pamanyame pane airport inomhara ndege pamanyame. Chinozosiyana is kukura kwendege dzinomhara ipapo. But an airport is there. Airport azvirori kunongomhara maBoeing 707. Panogona kumhara tudiki tundege twe. As airport, you understand? So those airports needs to be developed. Every province in Zimbabwe must have an international airport. We must be having 10 international airports by now, as big as Harare International Airport. And when President Chamisa talks about that, you know, now 𝗓𝗶𝗶𝗃 dismissing it. They don't know that there is an airport. Ukaenda Karoi kunozi 𝗓𝗃, it was an airport. Kwaita kugamhara ndege. Ukaenda ukaPfunde, kunde ne airport indomhara ndege yaendesa mishonga ikoko. Ukaenda kunonzi kuChidamoyo kuRuzeva, deep muRuzeva mune airport indomhara ndege zoendesa mishonga kuChidamoyo hospital. But Varakashi, they don't know this. You understand? So what I mean here is to try and throw the challenges to Varakashi. When Chamisa is speaking, he's saying things that he knows. Munomboziva here, ndaitaurira mumwe munhu ndikati kubva muChinoi, kubva muLions Den, ndikati Chinoi kure, kubva muLions Den, train, passenger train, kwaive nepassenger train during Ian Smith regime. There was a passenger train yataikwira kubva muChinoi kuenda muHarare. I know Passion, if you say that to Passion Java, he doesn't understand it. That there was a passenger train that plied Lions Den Harare. Varakashi, they don't know this. So I tell her sometimes that time, ZANU-PF has been filtered with time. Most Varakashi, vanotaura vafana vema $10 a week, they don't know that there was a passenger train that plied Lions Den to Harare. They don't know that. But I have to tell them, because ndakaikwira train iyoyo. And I have to tell them, because ndakaikwira. There is another call, I'm not sure. Hello?
Hello, Shapiro.
Yes, right, Zufamba. Oh, Blackwood, Zurize. Ndripa live, but alright, no pay my man. Ah, very poor, thanks.
Okay.
Alright. And the demand. Sorry guys. Pakaipa guys. Saka monanya zandukutaura. Vashoma, they don't understand. ZANU-PF people don't. Varakashi, they don't understand. Vana, they don't understand this. But when we come to tell them that if you listen to President Nelson Chamisa, the gentleman has got endless strategies. The gentleman has got endless strategies that he can implement. And what he needs, the man is there. People in Zimbabwe are paying tax. Man is there. As road government did in Amar. Because look at what Mnangagwa does. When he came to United Kingdom COP26 meeting, he came with an entourage of 200 people, a chartered plane. You can't charter a plane when the country's got no money. So it means the money is there, the resources are there. What these people are just doing is they don't want to implement a sound policies that will see every Zimbabwean benefiting. This is why you see CCC, Nelson Chamisa is always on spot, telling you things that every Zimbabwean will benefit. If there is a train that ply Chirundu to Harare, everybody along that line can benefit. By now, ngadaita a train in Rova from Harare to Binga. Ngadaita a train in Rova from Harare to Masvingo. Bridge. A train about my major routes by now, they should have been linked by trains. Fast trains. You know, UK, I always tell people, it's cheaper to fly than to board a plane. If I want to go to London by plane, it can cost me £80. If I want to go to London by train, it costs me £200. If I want to drive to and from London, it costs me about £140 to £200. By driving from here to London, I take about 5 hours. By train, I take about 2 hours. By plane, I take about an hour. Fly from here to London. So you weigh what you want to do. Do you want to fly? Do you want to use a train? Do you want to use your car? It's optional. It depends on the type of business that you want to do in London. Believe me, those who are in Zimbabwe or Africa, they might not understand what I'm saying, but ask those in the United Kingdom. Where I live, there are people who were born here in Middlesbrough. And these people, they have never been in London. They have been everywhere, going to Spain for holidays, going to France for holidays, going to Kenya, Africa for holidays. But they have never been in London. They don't know what London looks like. People who were born here, and some they died, they've never been in London. Born in Middlesbrough, flew everywhere in the world, but never been in London. You know why? When I want to fly to go to Spain, I don't travel to board a plane at Heathrow Airport or Gatwick. No, I go to Newcastle. So there is nothing that I want in London. I just go to Newcastle, board a direct plane to Spain for a holiday. So you will find that the rest of my life, I might never be in London. If I'm sick, there is nowhere the doctor will say, get an ambulance, transfer this person to London. Because specialists are everywhere in the UK. Where if I am sick, go to James Cook Hospital. There are specialists there. All operations are done there, not in London. In Zimbabwe, if someone in Karoi is sick, they get an ambulance to transport that person to Parirenyatwa Hospital. So you find every Zimbabwean is connected to Harare. That is not proper. So when President Nelson Chamisa is talking about that, you guys don't understand it. Varakashi don't understand it. We now understand it because we have been out of Zimbabwe and we have seen other systems. This is why I am saying, believe me, there are people in Middlesbrough who do not know how London looks like. All the shops you find in London are found in Newcastle. All the supermarkets you find in London are found in Middlesbrough. So there is nowhere I will travel from Middlesbrough to go and buy mbeu ku Harare. Unoona munhu achikwira bhazi kubva kwaChundu kuenda kuSidco ku Harare unotenga mbeu. It's a waste of time, waste of resources, waste of money. Ndosaka muchiona waChamisa, when he's talking, he talks about decentralization. So you will find in the UK someone living in Middlesbrough who does not even know how London looks like. If you go to London and come back, you talk to them. Oh, guys, I've been in London. They ask you why. Why are you wasting your money to go to London? You understand? So when President Chamisa is talking about that this is the normal life that we want Zimbabweans to enjoy, Varakashi, they think it's impossible. Possible things, they look at them and say, this is impossible. Because what they are just doing is seeking refutation. You understand? So Varakashi, these are type of people who believe. If you tell Murakashi will tell you that the world is flat. Do you know that? If you talk to Murakashi today, talk to Nick Mangwana will tell you that this world is flat. Although we now know that the world is a globe, it's like a ball. But Murakashi will never tell you that. Murakashi will refuse that the world is. He will tell you that the world is flat. No reason why. Because they don't want to explore the world. Murakashi cannot. If you don't travel a mile away to see that the world is not flat, Murakashi will argue that this world is flat. When you tell him that we live in a globe, we live in a ball, he will tell you never, it is flat. Until you disapprove that, until you prove it to him, to say, look, Murakashi, let's travel, let you see. But they are blind. They are told by 𝗔𝗵𝗿𝗶𝗀𝗃 that the world is flat, and they believe that. They've got no prowess power. They've got no power, reasoning power, to say, look, let me reason, let me think. They don't want to think. So, beware of such people. Beware of such people. Varakashi, let's beware of ZANU-PF. Let's beware of ZANU-PF and its Varakashi. Beware of them. Murakashi, unoziva zvakafanana nendakagara panapa. Ndokuda kutenga motikari panapa. Panza apa panogona kuva neighbor wangu ari kutengesa motikari yaari kuita £6,000. Ku Newcastle kune motikari same type of a car, same mileage, inenge ichitengeswa 5,908. Murakashi anokwira mota kuenda ku Newcastle kunotenga motikari 5,980 pounds. Achisiya motikari yaakatarisa iri kuita 6,000. Because they don't weigh how important time is. Because of 20 pounds, Murakashi choose to kuisa fuel 80 pounds or driver his time and insurance and everything to beat 20 pounds. So Varakashi, they don't reason. So I'm not sure passion Java. What example yandapa is an example yakada passion Java. Anouya okutengera drink can ye Coca-Cola. Okutengera banzi rara wodga. Ovadenda join ZANU-PF. Go vote for ZANU-PF. Watengerwa can ye drink ne banzi one. Wakutovotera ZANU-PF. Wapua ela ngeni chisipo chinovava kageza nacho na mapundu. Wakunovotera ZANU-PF. This is why I'm saying Zimbabweans, we need critical reasoning, critical thinking. Let's make sure we define our life. Let's make sure that don't let someone define your life. Don't let someone show you what you want. Every Zimbabwean knows now you need something to eat. You need hospitals. You need clean water to drink. You need beautiful cities. So even if you go to Zambia, you don't feel embarrassed to say you are Zimbabwean. Every Zimbabwean knows that he wants this. Apana singadi chinchakanaka. Even chaicha unsawachona kana une mukadzi akashata, unogona kutsvaka girlfriend yakanaka. Nokuti munhu usanda chakanaka. Uri kunzwa? Handisona kuti vakadzi vakashata because vakadzi vanosiyana by tests, they go by tests. Kune mumwe munhu nemukoma wangu asinotaura zita rake. Mukoma wangu inini asinotaura zita rake. Mukoma wangu inini kana achinyenga musikana kana achinyenga mukadzi, haatarise face, haatarise kana kuti kuumbwa kana zvemagaro zvinhu zvinomuona, mukadzi ane mazama akati ane magaro akaita sei. My brother doesn't look at that. He's a queer someone. Kana achinyenga mukadzi aida musikana anotarisa makumbo. Nasi mangwana noswera chipopotera wakana kuzwa waitaura pa Facebook ndakakunzwa Shepherd. But ndikaitaura kamdhara chokwadi naye. Because kubva kugara kura kwandakaita naye ndichifamba naye mukoma wangu inini. Aiti mukafamba oza ukarei unenge uri usiku. Aiti akatarisa magetsi akadzima kana kuti kune magetsi akatarisa makumbo evanhu vanenge vachifamba bebe. anokuti shepherd ndoti mukoma uri kuona makumbo ayo andiri kuona ayo ndoti ndanhingi ndara maona sei zvikanzi endanomumisa mhanya saka ndinomhanya ndosvika pamakumbo aya andaratidzwa aya ndotarisa fesi nova ndinhinga kugulezi muri sei handiri right bamini muri kubva kupi toti hatakuonai mandoona muri pamunomo ndi mandoona sei inini handaizotaura kuti mukoma wakuona ine makumbo andiriona. So it goes by taste. Varume vanoattractwa nevakadzi vakasiyana siyana. Musazoti ndati vakadzi vakashata. Ayo mukoma wamwe inini anokunyengera mukadzi akashata asi ane makumbo anoda. Makumbo ndo andoda andonyenga mukadzi otoroora mukadzi ando ndaiti ndikatarisa how handsome my brother was and looked how ugly his wife was. Unoona ndaiti ndikamira ndikamutarisa kuti but mukoma wangu he was so handsome, but mukadzi wanga naye hapana munhu anomunyenga kana akapfuura, hapana munhu anomunyenga, but chaaida chete aida makumbo amaiguru. Akatarisa makumbo emukadzi wakaiperera perera chaiko chaiko. Ndiye murume waanoenda kuona kuti anoperera kumakumbo emukadzi. Zakamboita imwe girlfriend ayo makumbo ndaiti ndikatarisa sonoti saka mudhara madira aiita girlfriend yake akatozoita vana nayo nenyaya yemakumbo andomurora. So kiss goes by favor. Hakuna munhu anonzi akashata kuzi anozonza uyu anodirwa zvakati anodirwa zvakati. Ndakazonga mumwe munhu auya kuinbox kwangu zvikanzi mavideos ako anoposta mamwe acho aite shepherd. Ndikati aite but mavideos handisi ndini ndinotora ka inini ndinongoona video yandafarira ndoisa zvikanzi why uchifarira video vakadzi vane magaro siri. Ndikati ndo zvinondoattractawo handitarise face yemunhu kuti akanaka here nechidawo magaro acho kunyange kungongoona chete wotonakirwa nazvo, you understand. Saka ndakatoona munhu yatobhoekana nazvo. Angari ex wangu tichiri kuchikoro tichiri vakomana mukomana nemusikana nanhasi anoti kana akatarisa zvinhu zvandoposta anofollowa sereki pafacebook pangu achifollowa zvandoita achitaura. Ndikangoposta video nemunhu akangobatana anotouya kuinbox kuzopopota because iyaye vakabatana anoriona. Saka aitongoziva kuti izvi ndo zvinoda shepherd izvi. Haadi kuti ndakanaka here, ana basa ndakashata here, ane something a feature yanoda. Ndosaka uchiona varume ava murume mumwe nemumwe ane something chaanototi ichi ndo chandoda pamukadzi. Andiona kune mumwe munhu anongoda zvakafanana namudhara tsvangirai. Believe me, mudhara tsvangirai anga asina basa nebhodhi yemukadzi, aida mukadzi ane fesi yakanaka. Ndozvandaiziva kutasa vakadzi vake vese vainyenga tsvangirai vanenge vari vatsvuku vakanaka, ndozvaaida izvozvo. Saka musazotaura vandati vakadzi vakashata, but mumwe nemumwe ane test yake yaanoda pamukadzi. Zvakafanana nepolitics, zvandiri kutaura zvakafanana nepolitics, kuti papolitics supporter yese inofollowa political party ane certain thing chaanoda. Unoziva kuti patakangoita party president chamisa vachita rebrand our 𝗔𝗵𝗶𝗂 vakaisa color yeyellow. Guess what? Isusu hatina masimba mazimba ekuramba masupporters. Ndaona Eric Knight akapfekawo yellow achizotaura kuti yebo yellow, tai yeyellow, hembe yeyellow. Asi vanhu vanoziva kuti mabasa aEric Knight ndaapi. Takaona Jonathan Moyo vari kumhanya nana yebo yellow. Hatina right yekuramba masupporters. A party cannot choose supporters. Changondorwadza chete nevanhu kubulawayo makanselas ekubulawayo kuti munhu sure ungaramba wakanamirira kuti iwewe ndoda kuita kansela. Tikuda just one kansela, hatitoda two. Anditoona taimboshora vana Monzora kuti vakuisa madouble candidates, but nyaya yekubulawayo yanorwadza. We cannot do what Monzora was doing, kuisa madouble candidates. One has to withdraw, or eusikadyiwa ikokoko, I think we need to expel those people from the party. Because honestly, kuna mwana wanotumwa kuti iyo usa withdraw. Ovatonzi mari pamusoro. Boso zati mkaenda muri 2 zani inowina. Animona. Saka we don't need that type of people. Those are mercenaries. Atina kuforma political party 𝗔𝗔𝗂 to enrich other people. We don't want mercenaries. We don't want people looking for a job in the party. We want people looking to liberate Zimbabwe. And the Munanya Dutor. Do Panonya Guchinda Gwemkads. And I start here. And could punish something attractive, but 𝗔𝗂𝗂 that not every Zimbabwean can resist. Zimbabweans can't resist 𝗔𝗂𝗂. That yellow color, golden color can't be resisted. Chamisa's speeches can't be resisted. Chamisa's addresses can't be resisted. You understand what I mean? So there is something that we need. Something that you look at. Even vakadzi vakadzi. Ndatonzwa ex wangu ye msikana wangu ye ndatonzwa achitotaura kuti hembe yakapfeka. Izvozvi ndachitoverenga message. Yapinda pana. Arutaura nyaya yehembe. Anditi mono. Anenge achitaura hello madara. Hello baba.
How we got this from on the other side?
Hello daddy. Murise. Anditi moona nyaya yatiri kutaura guys. Baba, is it charged? Huh? Ashi. It just got a little bit of battery.
Okay.
Go finish it. Close my door. Andi murona nyaya yatiri kutaura. Saka you find kuti nyaya yatiri kutaura iyoyo. Some people hanzi yeye unofukura hapwa stereki. Ndakabotukwa nemwe muzanu-PF. Zvikanzi unofukura hapwa stereki. You talk a lot about you. Yeah, you do this and that. Ndikati baba. Ndo mukana wangu uno. Kukurarama. Kana ndichitaura upenyu hwangu. Ndinge chitaura upenyu hwangu. Ndikazhinji kacho ndenisingaitire iwewe. Ndinenge ndichiitira. Ndine vazukuru vachasara 1,000 years to come. Vanenge vachizoona mavideos iwaya. Inini ndinge ndaivhu. Vazukuru vangu vanenge vachiona sekuru wavo. Tateguru wavo. Imagine dai kwakune social media. Ndichiona sekuru vangu. Ndo dzinza rangu kwandakabva. It will be so impressive. 1,000 years to come. These videos will still remain there. And my dzinza randaka created will see my videos iwaya. Anditi muri kuona nyaya yatiri kutaura. Sometimes zvinhu zvekuti people don't value, but start thinking about it. Start thinking about it. You need your children and their children to see you in about 1,000 years to come. Lezo tinoona mapicture Hitler, vazukuru Hitler vanenge vachiona how bad Hitler was. Videos and photographs esati kusiya vedzinza vachaona how Mugabe was, how bad Mugabe was. Unoona vana vachazoshamisika kuti but kwaive nevanhu vane 5 senses vairega Mugabe achiita zvaari kuita izvi. Andimona. So zvinhu zvandiri kutaura pano zvinhu zvekuti as Zimbabweans, let's sit down. Let's critically think. Do we need to continue to suffer in this way under ZANU-PF? And Murugona. We have suffered enough, ladies and gentlemen. We definitely suffered enough. So there must be an option of opting out of this suffering. And how we are going to opt out of this suffering is through an election that is coming. 2023 is your chance to opt out from suffering. If you fail to stamp your authority, you will face this suffering until you die. Imagine vanhu vachiona guva rako vachiti chimunhu chakasafa ichi under ZANU-PF, and guva rako will continue to suffer tine makuva evabereki nanhasi atisati avaka, and makuva aya they are suffering. Andi muri kuona, saka tisazosafa futi tiri zvituna. What we need, we are facing this suffering now, but we have got option to opt out of this suffering. We can do it. You and me can do it. You register to vote. You go and vote ZANU-PF out. Your ex is powerful. Your ex can assist you or can usher you new phase of life. And so before you choose, sit down and think. Ask yourself the most best candidate to vote for. And then respond to that. If your candidate is your best candidate, if it is Chamisa, go straight for Chamisa. Unaona mwe munajidi president wangu Chamisa, councillors zangu, you haven't decided. If you say no to ZANU-PF, even the president wacho, no. Councillor wacho, no. Mayor wacho, no. Your ex must be on Chamisa. Chamisa's councillor, Chamisa's mayor. Whoever is CCC, that is where your ex go. Tinerombora kanaka that apana confusion ichaitika. Imimi kana makuenda mubox kunovota, unokotarisa pane face ya Chamisa wisa ex watopedza. Chada problem yekune double candidates who have refused vari kubhadharwa neZANU to destroy the party, because both of them will lose. Both of them will lose, and they've given ZANU-PF an upper hand, like what we see in Koromons. You see, so this is a time where you guys, we must respond to ZANU-PF. The way to respond is we are going to vote. We have created, as politicians, we created politicians. People who came to us and they say we want to be politicians. We gave them life. They are now politicians. And what we need to do is vote them into power so that they can go and represent it. Unoziva kana ndotaura ndakanzi nemwe munhu zvikanzi baba mune chipo chekutaura. Makazvarwa muchitaura. Ndikati no. Handina chipo chekutaura. But what I do is say the truth. You know, when you start telling the truth, unenge watanga kukura. Andimon, unenge watanga kukura. Because what we need to do is help Zimbabwe select an option that can remove them from poverty. This is what we only want to do. Is give you knowledge and ideas of how you can walk out of this poverty created by ZANU-PF for the last 40 years. So if you opt out, then you can be able to manage your life. Because what you need at the moment is just to pay attention to things that will deliver you good life in future. We no longer talk about future on a shepherd, 51 years old. The future that I was supposed to have spoken about is now, which never came. Andimona. Mom zvachiri kubvunza. Mom Catherine Kashiri vari kubvunza hanzi hawa kuwende zviri sei. Gaindidzokerera. I have phoned Honorable Charlton Wende, who is the CCC Secretary General. Ndataura nawo pa live panapo. Vanhu vakavanzo. He is live. Vana kuabductwa. Vatoripo. Saka musanyanyo vatyira mu varipo. Ndikatumirwa video ndatumirwa. I can show you the video. Ndatumirwa. Please.
Look, comrades, there are lies that the SGC has been abducted. We know it is the counterintelligence of ZANU-PF that is trying to preempt court case yana Johanna. The SG has not been abducted. I'm here with him. He is safe and fine and he has been roaming around the whole of Harare, making sure that people are registering to vote. Thank you, comrades.
Andimona. Hii video yaitwa na Juma andisendera. I can show people. The SG has not been abducted. He's here. We have got him. So mawaona SG varipo ipapa awana ku abducted. Saka I know that a lot of people were so concerned about the plight of our Secretary General. Saka mawaona Secretary General varipo. I can show you again the video.
That the SG has been abducted. We know it is the counterintelligence of 𝗓𝗱𝗶𝗲𝗏 that is trying to preempt 𝗀𝗂𝗃𝗃 𝗀𝗏𝗃. The SG has not been abducted. I am here with him. He is safe and fine and he has been roaming around the whole of Harare, making sure that people are registering to vote. Thank you, comrades.
Saka I think mom mawanzwa SG maona SG varipo. Saka avana ku abductwa is there rumors which have been circulating and rumors iwaya ndo amaona aitwa dispelled na Juma. Saka ladies and gentlemen, so what I'm saying here is we need you guys. We need you guys. We need your attention. Pay attention to what is happening now in your life. You need good life. You only live in this world once. Don't waste your vote. Don't waste your time by voting ZANU-PF. And in the morning, the trend that we have seen since 1980 up to now, ZANU-PF has run a flawed country. And that flawed country, you cannot meaningfully engage with life in Zimbabwe. If people are now going outside Zimbabwe trying to look for life outside our country, but we have got a country, we have got somewhere where we say we belong to. So what I'm saying here is you can't meaningfully be connected to ZANU-PF life, to ZANU-PF, and say ZANU-PF will bring good life to the people of Zimbabwe. So the moment you start exploring what I'm talking about, that is the moment we say, yes, you have started reasoning, you are now thinking, and you are now, we are ready to remove ZANU-PF. Sorry guys, my messages are kuya. People were so concerned about our Charlton Wende. People were so concerned. My messages are kupinda. At a decade, I think number one, Wende, I have answered that that the Secretary General is safe, and I've shown you. Let me try to send the video so that
has been abducted.
Yeah, I'm trying to forward this video that I received so that thank you so much. Okay, Atete, thank you so much. Our Secretary General is safe. So this is Mkoma Edward Love. How have you been, my brother? Long time we haven't spoken. Mazwano mandramo Mkoma Edward to agaragara ofona Shapiro ndeipi mazwano mandramo mopota muchitibata oka tinzwa kuti zviri muri sei kwa muri naye gold zviri kufamba ere. So what we are saying, ladies and gentlemen, is for us to succeed, we need to look into this context of voting. We definitely need to register to vote. Tell your next of kin to register to vote. Unonza munhu achitanza handiende kunovhota, hazvina zvazvinochinja. Unenge usati wada life yakanaka. 1980 dai vana baba vedu vakati hatiswani vanovhota, hazvina zvazvinochinja, because vaingovhota under Ian Smith vachingonzi mablacks adyiwa. Smith was running this show ega anditimaona. So ladies and gentlemen, yebo yellow, muriseko yebo yellow. So I am going to finish now. this presentation. I've taken long. There were complaints from YouTube that these videos are too long. People can't spend 3 hours listening. But some who understand the value of what I say, they can spend 10 hours listening. So before I finish, ladies and gentlemen, let me extend this request again. Let me extend this request again before I finish this presentation. I'm trying to look for these pictures so that people understand what is happening. I know I've never been live on Facebook trying to source funds for my own education. I know I've tried when I wanted to go to, when I was studying a degree in nursing, and I wanted to go for to go for placement in Cambodia, which needed about 3,500 US dollars, 3,500 pounds for me to go stay in Cambodia, learn, do my nursing in Cambodia, and then come back to the UK. I went live on Facebook. I created a GoFundMe. I tried to raise, I just raised about 900 pounds, which part of it, when I failed to go there due to COVID, part of it I had to disperse it to the people who were in Zimbabwe who were complaining, we need this, we need that. At the end, I ended up disbursing that money to those people. Now I've had problems at school. I've been talking to different people right now. That last year I had a problem with my university, which problem I say is centered, is based on my race, on my color, not based on anything. I never did anything wrong. Then I ended up being suspended from university. It's now almost a year. So what I said to myself is, for this year that I was not in university, I would rather do other courses, gain other skills that can assist me to go back into work immediately before that issue is solved. But because since I know that I'm going back to university to complete this degree, because I had left out with only 2 assignments to graduate. I was supposed to have graduated in September last year. But due to that problem, I can't graduate now. I have to get this solved before I return to university. But during that, you know, when you are a full-time student, most of the time, I don't do even part-time jobs. But what I do is I go into full-time study, survive on student funding, so that I put more time in my studies. This is why you see I always pass. I always pass with the flying colors, because what I do is I put more effort in reading to ensure that whatever I'm doing, I pass. So there is a problem now that needs assistance, that needs help. I went to a vocational college where they train you as an engineer. You are trained engineering skills. You know, I've done some of the things. I'm learning fabrication, I'm learning welding, which are skills that I thought Zimbabwe would want. You know what? When I was in the workshop, I looked at the machinery that was in the workshop. I looked at the people who were doing this vocational training together with me. I am perhaps the most learned person in that workshop. But these guys, they've been, you know, they are guys from the streets. Some who were drawn in drugs, who had lost hopes of surviving. But the government, the UK government, has resurrected them, took them into that vocational training, trained them skills trained them skills in fabrication. They've got no basic education, these guys, but they are doing wonders in there. They have been doing fabrication, welding, and so forth, and the companies are ready to take them, to employ them. I looked at it when I was talking to one of the lecturers. He said, I didn't tell them that, look, I've got probably a master's degree in science, because when I say that, I know they won't feel comfortable with me. They might. So I just said, let me keep quiet. Let me just like be anybody here. Regardless if what they see, what they are surprised about, when they give me mathematics, the simple sum, numerous, I get 100%. When I do English, I get 100%. When I do this, like the welding, MIG, TIG, and so forth, mom, I get 100%. So they say, oh, this guy is intelligent. So I never told them, look, I've got level 7 of education, because the level that I'm studying at is probably level 2 or level 3. Saga, they get surprised, but I don't tell them. The problem that I had now is, since I've got no funding, and these guys, they want me to pay. So last time I asked them, how much do you want me? So they said this course is for 6 weeks. So you need to pay about £350. I created a Facebook fundraiser to try and raise £350. Unfortunately, not even a cent has been put there. Luckily, I had other guys who came to my inbox and say, look, I'm not going to mention names, because hey, it's not easy for someone to part away with £100. And a brother of mine gave me £100. Another brother of mine gave me a sister gave me £50. So I've raised about 150, which I'm going to pay on Monday, because I told them, look, I'm not employed at the moment. I've got no source of income, but I desperately need these skills, even if it means I'm going back to university, back on student funding. But I need these skills. I desperately need them, because they are skills that can make me do part-time jobs, do whatever jobs I want. You see, I've never even requested money to assist myself, but I said to myself, let me try these skills, because they can quickly get me back into work. When I looked at the machinery that I'm using, and I looked at Zimbabwe, I said, oh, I think if in Zimbabwe we have vocational centers like this center, where skills are given to these people, definitely they will do some wonders. Fabrication and welding, they will do some wonders. When the lecturers were teaching us in the lecture room, they said, you know, engineering is like a challenging field. We've got a lot of different engineerings that are offered, especially by universities. And they said, guess what? Universities, when you go to university, it's about qualification. When you go to a vocational center, it's about skills. Most people in universities, they don't do these skills the way they do at vocational centers. In vocational centers, you spend the whole day learning how to weld, how to grind, how to cut, how to measure, how to draw, how to do this. In university, you spend a lot of time learning how carbon steel is made before you start learning how to cut it. And probably you will leave this university without cutting it. You understand? Because you learn the basics of making carbon steel until you learn how to cut carbon steel. So in vocational centers, they've got no time of learning how carbon steel is made, what elements are in the carbon steel. When they talk about propane gas to do like cutting torch, they don't tell you what propane is, what elements make propane, but they simply tell you that propane, for safety, you need to do this and that and that. It's dangerous, it can burst, can do this and that. That you are taught practical practical things. Then you go into a workshop, use propane gas to cut, use oxygen to cut. They don't tell you oxygen is O2. They don't say that. They tell you this is oxygen. They don't need to tell you about O2, how O2 is drawn from air, how it is put in there, how much pressure is in the tank. They're not concerned about. They are concerned about safety. They tell you any safety measures that you need to adopt, then how to cut using ox fuel gas, quite a lot of things. But for you to do that, you need to pay. You pay something. You learn the skills, you go into the job, you do the job, and more. So that was a request, and I said, but so far I've raised £150 per Monday. Ndichingoenda kuchikoro ndobva ndosvika ndobhadhara ndosara futi kuona kuti how best can I get helped. You know, it's so interesting. It's so interesting. It's like, you know, hauzogari wa munhu kuti zvakati wochema, because unenge wane something that assists you in terms of need. And more skills are better. Ndakaona ndikati skills are better than qualification. Ndopa ndakazviona, oh, skills are better than qualification, because I've got a lot of qualifications. Ndaitaura nemwe munhu ndikati, you know, I'm an accounts clerk. I'm a qualified accounts clerk. I've got level 4 pitman accounting, and I got Spaces College. Naskana ndikapinda in any field of accounting, I can work as an accounts clerk, fully qualified. I'm a qualified risk and loss controller, having done an advanced diploma ne Harare Institute of Zimbabwe Institute of Management, ZIM. If I go back to Zimbabwe, yeah, I can be a security manager in any bank with that qualification. I've got 3 degrees. 1, applied science and forensic investigation. 2, masters in forensic science. 3, I've got professional graduate certificate in education, which makes me a qualified teacher. So I've got loads of qualifications. Ndikamaburitsa ma qualifications angu apa amunosekerera kuti munhu anawo ma qualifications, but what lacks are the skills. What is important are the skills. If I apply for a job to go and work, I can get the job because I've got the qualifications. But I have to go into a company and start learning skills, which I'm learning now. So for those skills, kuti dzipinde musoro, ndika ukangoemployiwa nhasi, munhu anokuemploya asvika achikudzidzisa ma skills. Ndakaona when I worked for 𝗔𝗹𝗹𝗲𝗀𝗃, I worked for one of the biggest international companies in the UK. You know, the 𝗔𝗹𝗹𝗲𝗀𝗃, where I was a research assistant. Ndichishanda kuGate. Pandakasvika ipapo, you know, munhu wandakatanga kushanda naye akatanga kundidzidzisa ma skills of using Excel. Although I hold a qualification in computers, but pane pamwe pekuti unenge wakuda kumixa uchita chemical analytical chemistry yayo, unenge wakuda kuziva kuti trend inorevei, ukaedha additive in this paint zvinomira sei. Saka unenge uchitarisa nemadiagrams aya anobuda atodraw. Saka inokusa malines aya emadiagrams akazotera kuziva kuti additive ipi. Zvaindivhara izvozviya. Ndobva auya lucky ndakaita shadow munhu aiziva zvaaita. My life became so easy pakambani iyoyo. But ndogara nchitaurira vanhu kuti vanhu vechirume, sometimes we get ourselves in unnecessary troubles. Ipapo ndanga ndarambana nevamwe amai ava pavakaziva kuti Shepherd got a job, vakabva vaenda kumapurisa kunoripota zvikanzi Shepherd raped me last year. And that month yandakaripoterwa rape and harassment yanga ya 3rd month yangu ndiri pabasa. My manager nanhasi kana ndikakuratidzai mamessage anobva kuna manager wangu nanhasi musodzi inobuda. Manager wangu akataura akati takamboita vamwe vanhu vane maqualifications panapa vakauya shepherd vamwe vaiti vane maqualifications echemistry. They've never done what you did pakambani panapa. Ndiri pakambani ipapo first 3 months dzangu ndakaita project yandakaita yoCalifornia. Because California United Kingdom, they've got different types of weather. Saka vaida kuti ndidevelope powder paint inoshandiswa for coating mapipes kana kukota inonzi munoti mamota aya anozoswa magarden emvura, mamota anoswa panonaya aya, because United Kingdom inonaya. Saka weather ye UK is wet weather as compared to California. Saka pane ma-additives atakapiwa nevanhu veCalifornia kuti tione kuti ma-additives aya tikamaisa ma-condition eku-United Kingdom, how would they fare in a month, how would they fare in 2 months, how would they fare in 3 months, how would they fare after a year. So I had to make research on those additives. Ndichishandisa different types of paints, ndichishandisa different types of panels. Saka ndaiti kana ndapedza kumixa, ndaita formulation yangu ndopedza, ndaenda paipa ndogaya formulation, ndaenda paipa ndo extruder formulation yangu, nda extruder ndoigaya ndosefa, ndotora the finest green powder coating yangu, ndoenda nezvimaganzi zviya mabooth, spray booth, ndospraya, ndaimeasure glossiness, ndomeasure how they stick on the, ndomeasure zvese, ndapedza ndoma exposure to extreme weather panze, ndomasiya ndopota ndichimacheka on daily basis, tiona kuti pane machanges ari kuita here, ndichimeasure mangirinangu aya, ndichimeasure, ndichicollecta data so that I will analyze it after a month. Kuti after a month are exposed to this type of weather, kwakanaya so many days, akagara panze usiku wakati, akatsva nezuva mazuva akati, akada say. So at the end, pendi, is it the same as it was before? Saka ndaita a lot of research into that. It was an interesting job, and how I lost that job, it was a well-paying job. How I lost that job, something embarrassing. Zvekuti unopesera wakuvenga, ukatasa vanhu vechikadzi unopesera kuti chiura hachibhadhari. Andiona kuti someone just went to the police, felt jealous of my achievements and said, this guy raped me last year. And you know, vanhu vanenge vachiziva kuti once you are pinned kunzi rape mu UK zvatopera. Andiona I had to have a record that will stay with you forever, although the police will investigate and everything. Because mapurisa emunomu hapana chavanosiya, they go deep into investigate. Vanopinda kune dzimwe nyaya dzekuti unoshamisika kuti so how did the police get this information? Andiona kusvika mapurisa vazontaura kanzi, hey, you are lucky boy, kati ndawasvika kanzi nyaya yako haina kurukwa muno, yakarukwa kuZimbabwe. Munhu wako uyo waifunga kuti girlfriend anga ari munhu wezano. I was told by police information yatakawana email yemukadzi, information yatakawana yaiuya through her phone, because we wanted to make sure that when we charge you with rape, we are charging the correct person. And all. So the police had to go beyond the investigation and brought out information which shocked me. That information shocked me. Until today, ndikatarisa vanhu kuti vanhu kuna vanhu vane mweya yakaipa, mweya yetsvina. And on. Saka at the end, I was cleared by police because that was a false allegation that was bent to make sure zvikuitwa Shinyanga izvi ndo zvandakaitwa. And the Williams Shinyanga stood by me. So these are false allegations which were banned because aitaura kuti iye rape inokutora 20 years wapedza, then they deport you ZANU-PF inokudimbura musoro. And exactly like zviri kuitwa Shinyanga, trumped up charges, but the police had to investigate. Rape is a very serious crime in the UK. so they don't mince their words. They put maximum investigation. Vanoshandisa any method to make sure that the truth comes out. And that saved me. But for me to go back kubasa, because mapurisa akaya kandisunga pabasa, manager wangu akatouya akati Yuda rudi kune mapurisa vanopinda muofisi mamanager ngationa mangonja akazara simbi dzakatobatwa saka shepherd Yuda ngati kanzi under arrest for what? That's rape and harassment. Ndakatanga kufunga kuti life yangu yese and I've never raped anyone. Andisandarara nemukadzi wandoti uyu anenge asikadorara neni. Ndiro vasikana vanenge vachitochema kutochema kuda kurara neni, vamwe ndotoramba kuti nai zvingaitawo here izvozvo. Andiwo ndozonzi hanzi rape and harassment. Uza kubva ndiri kuprison, ndaiti ndikatanga ndikageza, ndikapfeka uniform yangu ndikafamba. Mapictures angu munoaona andoisa kazhinji. Vakadzi vevanhu chaivo vaitondinyenga. But because by that time ndandisina basa nazvo ndairamba. Ndasakaziva kuti kune chinhu chonzi chihure. Andiwo ndaiti mai vanopenga. Chiri kangodai so kuti mukashaka Yuda hey zvonzi uya kumba tukubikire chakati. Ndaitoti komana zvandichada ndichapapurwa nevakadzi. Andiona. But ndakatanga kufunga how I grew up. Matyiro andaita chinchonzi mukadzi. Because chekutanga chataita ndikuti ndichitamba bhora taiudzwa kunzi usafa wakarara nemusikana. Because ukarara nemusikana bhora rinopera. Apa taiudzwa nemwe mudhara zvikanzi because mushonga wandokupa iwe bhora iwe timu yenyu kuti iwine hazvidi kuti urare nemukadzi. Mukakorara nemukadzi madyiwa. Saka we were strict in terms of women. Saka ndifunge kuti ndiri munhu akangokura asina interest nevakadzi. No, someone was on the you raped me. Unoona zvinhu zvakanditambudza sere. Ndikati I think dai mapurisa vaiziva what type of munhu Shepherd is. I don't think they were even coming to arrest me, not even a day. And all. Because I don't drink beer, I don't smoke, I'm a sober man. Anything that happens shit kandakatarisa ndakavhura maziso angu so. Kunyange kana gorira ndofa ndakasvinura chizwa ndakufa. Andrugora. Saka, all those allegations were all false, and the police had to investigate everything to make sure that everything has been exposed and came out, and I was cleared. But for me to go back now kubasa, kwangu kwenda kuzodzokera. Ndakabuda mu office ndakaiswa simbi kumashure kudai. Phone yatorwa. Unovharwa muchibhazi chemapurisa chiendeswa kunovharwa police station. Andiona unongoenda hako but indangoziva kuti handina mhosva yandakapara. Hana yangu haina kana kubva yamborowa. Ndaitoziva kuti handina mhosva yandakapara. Never in a day randakabata munhu asikadi kubatwa. Kana zamu remusikana chaicho upenyu hwangu hana kukura chibata zamu. Kana musikana kunyange ndaidiwa nevasikana. I had no time for that. Ndane time yekutamba bhora. Ndosaka wachiona vanhu vachiita vakanitarisana nhasi vanoti Shepherd, you had an athlete board. What's happening to you? Wane matama, wane dumbu. What's happening? Andimona. Saka zvinhu zvimwe zvekuti zvimwe zvinhu zvekuti ukazvifunga unongoti pamwe uda munyama kungonenedzerwa zvimosva zvisina nebasa rese nemakwano asina nebasa rese. People who failed their lives. Munhu anongofela kungorwadziwa newe ngokuona munhu utonzwa kurwadziwa newe. Andora zivaunozwa kuti kana warwadziwa newe upore. Because kuna vamwe vasati vapora vachapora zvavo because God is in it. Musaka mona ndakutaura kuti zviri nani nditi hangu zvimwe skills pandozodzokera kuuniversity unopedzisa course yangu ndokupesa. But honestly I've lost interest in working as a nurse. I've lost interest. I would rather use the skills into forensic something and get a job there. But zvokuti ndichazoenda kuchipatara kubaya majekiseni kupa mapirisi, I don't think that is in my blood. I don't think so. With what I've seen, with what I've gone through. And the other thing chandakaona is because of my skin. You're a black man. On that Teesside University, I never knew it. that university pane vanhu vari so racial. Ndakaita madegrees angu SR3 pauniversity papo, but andina kubva ndamboenda through that type of racial segregation like what I'm going through. You understand? Saka ndakangoti tinozviona kumberi, tinenge chingonamara chingoti God is in it. Kutaura kwandiriita pandoine ndakanzwa so far vanhu vandoziva vanhu vatema vakadzingwa paTeesside University vanosvika kana 10 vakadzingwa. Ndakanzwa umwe munhu aita adzingirwa kunzanza English yako yaunotaura hatinzwe during presentation. Akadzingirwa unzi your type of English we don't understand it. Because yamwe muAsian wavanopfeka zvimajava zvezvi akadzingirwa kunzanzi zvauri kunyora hatisokwanisa kuzviverenga. Because unoziva kuti kana vari kunyika dzavo vanodzidza nechiAsian, kana vaya muno vanodzidza chirungu. Very intelligent woman, but hanzi akadzingirwa kunzi zvauri kunyora amene kuti ainyora chii. And the other guy anonzi aniko this guy akanditumira mumwe musi this guy akanditumira akanditi much welcomed. I've read the demo. It's unfortunate kuti ndokuda kuprotect that this guy is from Kenya. Ukataura naye zvaakadzingirwa pauni unobva is it a crime to be a black man in this country? But ndakazoona kuti it's because of Brexit. The British, they're outside Brexit now, and no one from Europe can interfere with them to say, why are you doing this to black people? Why are you doing this to black students? No one can do that. So nyaya yapo yakungovamirira kuti voita zvavanenge vachida kuita, vachitraya zvavanoda kutraya. The good part is makotsi emunomu achiripo haasati abva muEurope, makotsi achiri nechi-European who are still interpreting law as law. Saka tinenge tichingotakurana tichingopinzana mumatare zvichinaka zvichienda zvidaro. Saka we are not going to rest, we are going to continue with whatever will come. So nyaya iripo ndeyekuti Charlton Wende is there. Our Secretary General has not been abducted. He's there. I've spoken to him. Shylock Utsugota. Mureo murise mureo. Asa musukumwere. Mureo waripana wasukumwere. Saka, what I'm saying is our Secretary General Charlton Wende has not been abducted.
Look, there are lies that the SGC has been abducted. We know it is the counterintelligence of 𝗓𝗱𝗲 that is trying to preempt court case yana Johanna. The SG has not been abducted. I'm here with him. He's safe.
Thanks, Juma.
And he's been roaming around the whole of Harare, making sure that people are registered to vote. Thank you, comrades.
Thank you, Juma. This is Juma Oled. He sent me this message to say, look, vanhu vezanu vari kunyepa ndo vari kufambisa marumors ekuti wenda abductwa kuti zviite sekunge kunyepa kuti vana John vakamboabductwa. Saka, ladies and gentlemen, anambuyana nasekuru mamisha uko hama dzose vasati vaziva
Chamisa wavene bato itsva irida nora katorwa mushure
Nelson Chamisa chete naye
qualifications MDC rakangera zvibiswa nemandu ngonzora komichina nakupene vamwe saka kana mave kuzoenda kunovhota munofanira kucherekedza kwazvo chiso chachamisa nemasi matatu pamwe neruvara rwemabhanana votera Nelson Chamisa voterai pamasi matatu voterai Nelson Chamisa voterai paruvara rwemabhanana voterai Nelson Chamisa voterai pamasi matatu voterai Nelson Chamisa voterai paruvara rwemabhanana musanyengedzwa nebato rezanu muchipiwa mbeu nefotereza tinoda bato rinounza mabasa kuti mugozvitengera mega zvamunoda bato rezanu rauraya nyika muzere mbavha dzinoba zvikuru vanongozvifunga ivo vega momo yenyika ichikangawaya kana vouya kwamuri vanonyepa kuti masanction auraya nyika nyamba varivo vanouraya nyika nekuda kweuori hwavanoita votera Nelson Chamisa voterai pamasi matatu voterai Nelson Chamisa voterai paruvara rwemabhanana voterai Nelson Chamisa voterai pamasi matatu voterai Nelson Chamisa voterai paruvara rwemabhanana.
Mazvinzwa hanzi ngatiudze hama dzedu kumaruva kuti pane bato ridzva rinotungamirwa naPresident Nelson Chamisa. Kana taakuvhota tovhotera Nelson Chamisa, tovhotera pama-CCC matatu, pama-C matatu, tovhotera paruvara rwemabhanana. Ipapo tikadaro takunda, tabuda mupoverty, tabuda munzara. Saka nyaya yandiri kutaura ndeyekuti handei tinovhota, ngatirejestei kuvhota. Tovhotera President Nelson Chamisa, tovhotera pamavara matatu ma-CCC, tovhotera paruvara rwemabhanana. Ndokuti chembere dziri kumamisha zizive kuti kune ruvara runonzi rwemabhanana rweyellow, ndo rwamunovhotera. Kana muchinge mavhotera President Nelson Chamisa, zvakureva kuti sipo elangeni yaye hamuchatengi chielangeni chinovava. Maakuwana mabasa ekushanda muchitenga mbeu yamunoda. Kare taisarudza mbeu, ukada R52, ukada kamukadzi usayenda, maitenga mbeu yamunoda. Kwakuzidzai mbeu yanga isingauye nerori muchinzwai muhore mbeu kuti ruzevha rwese runongorima one type yembeu. Kwakusina zvakadaro. Waipinda mushopu wosarudza mbeu yaunoda kurima according neseason yauri kuda. Kana waida 3 months, kana waida 6 months, waisarudza ndiwe kuti unoda mbeu yakaita sei. Fertilizer waitenga yaunoda. Mabhazi aienda, taenda kumusha kwaChunduku, bhazi rakaita muchecha akaita kunge achaputika mavhiri akazara fertilizer pamusoro apo tichinorima musha. Andiona kwaiva marori aiva nefertilizer waitenga yaunoda. Kwai tatenga imwe yanzi AN, totenga imwe yanzi D, taitenga imwe fertilizer futi imwe taisa muchibage ndakanganwa kuti yanzi chi, yanga isiri AN, yanga isiri D, yanga iri mix ya AN ne D, but yanga ine sara yanga inaro. Saka you find kuti kana tavhotera president Nelson Chamisa zvakureva izvo kuti mabasa anenge apo. Imimi munenge maakutenga mbeu yamunoda, muchitakura mega nemotikari dzenyu, munenge maakutenga motikari dzenyu, nokuti mabasa apo akushanda basa rinokubhadhara. Wotenga motikari yako, wotenga mbeu yako, wosvika kumusha wakada kurima nemombe, wakada kurima netrakta, vamwe vachatenga matrakta avo. Iye nezvi matrakta anouya muZimbabwe vanopiwa, havatenge, ivo havatenge matrakta madhara ezano, vanopiwa mahara, asi kuti vakurimire mahara hazviite. Trakta yaakapiwa mahara yaasina kumbotenga. Ani muri kuona? Saka vanochengetana pachavo, havana basa neruzhinji rwevanhu. Ruzhinji rwevanhu rwakutochengetwa naNelson Chamisa. Saka maakuudzwa kanzi vhotera Nelson Chamisa, vhotera pama-3 vhotera paruvara rwebhanana kuti ugogona kuzozvitengera mbeu yako wega. Manzwa here mukoma Patrick? Manzwa here mukoma Terry Kaseke, Patrick Mafuta? Ngatiudzei hama dzedu kuti musanyengerwa nekutengerwa elangeni chisipo chinovava chiya chiya uchizora grease. Mune upenyu hwakanaka, uri munhu une upenyu hwakanaka uri pamberi apo hwekuti iwe uchazozvitengera wega sipo yaunoda. Taigezana naGesha, tichigezana naRomanzi, tichigezana naLifebuoy, taitenga sipo yaunoda. Vamwe vachitenga majeli vachigeza nemajel soap aya. Unotenga zvaunoda nokuti une mari yako, you are working, you are earning your money. Tichirima zvatoda. Andimona. Saka ndakutaura kuti zvanzi vhoterai President Nelson Chamisa. Ngativhoterei ma-3 tivhotere paruvara rwebhanana, nekuti ndo pane upenyu hwako. Saka zvakuda iwe wega, iwe wega, saina saina saina, iwe wega, saina saina, uende kudenga, iwe wega, saina saina saina, iwe wega, saina, uende kudenga, iwe wega, saina saina saina, iwe wega, saina, uende kudenga. Ndapedza. Mukoma William Ponela ndapedza. Maunonoka kuuya mudhara. Lema mauya nhasi ndakuita i-subject of talk because I was talking about ZANU-PF kuti inyi party yatakaona since 1980 ishinzi tatora independence. So ZANU-PF is a political party that has been filtered with time. The time span that it has run Zimbabwe with all the rot that we see today is will rule ZANU-PF out of trying to bring good life to the people of Zimbabwe. No matter that they are crying for 5 more years, what they want to do with 5 years, which they failed to do in the past 40 years. When they took Zimbabwe, we had water in the tap, we had electricity, we have nice roads, beautiful city. And now when ZANU-PF came, the sunshine scene of Harare is now a bin, the whole city is now a bin. And I've told you that municipalities are not a government, they are run by government. And who is the head of state is Emmerson Mnangagwa, who appoint a minister who run municipalities, local government minister, and the metropolitan ministers. These are ministers who interfere with the collection of refuse, who interfere with the services that the council can provide. After that, Mnangagwa goes on to say, hakuna kunenda zvichemo zvema-councillors MDC. He goes on to say, we are everything. We are the council. We are the police. We are the prison. We are the judges. We are everything. You understand? So, Zimbabweans now know where their problems are coming from, ZANU-PF. So what we need to do is yellow, Nelson Chamisa with endless strategies to run Zimbabwe. Let's give him chance. Let's give him chance. Saka by this that, like I ended good night. Morala zvakanaka naye. Good night.